up at the Ravine.
The lead in the National League West is 2 games, again with a tiebreaker in the Dodgers' back pocket.
Tonight, the Giants are at Petco. Can the Padres stay focused with the Blue Machine coming down this weekend? Now, live from the studios of San Diego Sports 760, it's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 1 of Jon and Jim. What a difference a show can make. The last time we were on the air, we were hyping up that 3-game set in L.A. with first place on the line.
So much for that.
It was on the line, and the Dodgers capitalized. And, of course, the Padres fell flat on their faces again. That Lucy pulling the football away from Charlie Brown analogy coming true again. And a little bit of that no good, very bad, terrible feel again as well for Padres fans. So now on the other side of it, the Giants, then the Dodgers at home. But we spent 2 hours on it last night. We'll spend another 4 hours on it here today. It was an opportunity for the Padres this past weekend at Dodger Stadium that they completely squandered. I mean, they didn't have to play perfectly, but even winning one game feels so much different because now they're 2 back. I mean, you win one of those games, you're even in the NLS. They lose all 3 of them. They're 2 games back. It just feels like the gap between the 2 teams is so much larger than that based on what we saw this weekend. But the Padres swept in LA, trying to pick themselves back up this week against the Giants and the Dodgers. But a completely disappointing, embarrassing weekend for the Padres in LA.
And it's really 3 back because the Dodgers now own the season series tiebreaker over the Padres. So they'd have to beat them outright to win the National League West. That means they'd have to play 3 games better than the Dodgers here for the rest of the season. And their schedules are kind of the same, with actually the Dodgers having an easier strength of schedule for the rest of the year. But that's all beside the point. This weekend, the way the Padres played the Dodgers, it was a pretty embarrassing weekend all the way around. Like, other than Ramon Laureano, everybody had a bad weekend for the Padres. Like, that's it. The manager had an awful weekend. Your star players had awful weekends. Your starting pitching was downright just bad this past weekend. Your bullpen wasn't good because they gave up leads in the game. Overall, there's really nothing coming out of the weekend that was positive for the Padres. Oh, and by the way, Jackson Merrill's now hurt. You had Michael King go on the IL before this series started. Yeah, it's crazy how a weekend kind of changes a lot of things here.
I think 2 things here. Like, you can't spin the weekend in anything other than negative if you're a Padres fan. But the other side of it, it's not like the season ends because of their poor play. It's not season defining unless they allow it to be season defining. I mean, if they fall flat on their faces and don't play well against the Giants, and then the Dodgers come here this weekend and it's more of the same, as in there's still 38 games left, so anything can happen. But here's the deal. At the end of the day, you have to overcome the mental hurdle of the LA Dodgers. And it's more than just a mental hurdle. I mean, the Dodgers are good. They've gotten healthier. They have starting pitching. We saw it on display. But you can't tell me, even though I watched 2022 play out, you can't tell me you're going to feel confident about your chances when you lose every series all year to the LA Dodgers. You can't lose the way they lost in 2024 in the postseason and then go 2-8 this year in the regular season and then lose a home series, hypothetically speaking, coming up. At some point, you're going to have to play better. But, John, 2022, bank on that. Teams are different. That's a lifetime away. So they have to play better against the LA Dodgers. No one's going to feel good heading into the postseason if they go 3-10 against the Dodgers in the regular season. And it was an opportunity squandered. The teams were heading in different directions. Padres are playing well. Dodgers are playing poorly. I said all week, it feels like maybe this is the series where the Dodgers pick themselves back up, almost like they need the Padres. Guess what? Maybe they did, because they swept through the Padres. It feels like they've turned their season around at the expense of San Diego these last 3 days.
Yeah, it's just incredibly disappointing because going into the series, I don't care who you are out there today saying that, you know what, it was just a regular season series in August. Everything's going to be fine.
Right.
If the roles were reversed and if the Padres swept the Dodgers, you wouldn't be saying that today.
Right.
So this is not, don't come to me with, oh, it's just fine. It's another series. It's okay. No, both of these teams knew this was a big series this weekend.
Sure.
It doesn't define their season, but it was a big blow to their chances of winning the National League West.
Absolutely.
And it was a pretty harsh reality check for the Padres. You're not at that level yet. You were playing really good baseball before that, but if you play like that in the biggest series of the year to date, that's a little concerning because the lights were bright this weekend. The atmosphere was awful at Dodger Stadium. It didn't feel like playoff games because the Dodger fans did not bring it this past weekend. But still, both these teams knew what was at stake.
Mm-hmm.
Both of these teams knew where they were at in the standings. They knew that, these teams are very close, and they knew how each one of them were playing. So this is a big series for both teams. The Dodgers, they acted like it. They went out and played really good baseball. They knew this was a big series for them, and they did exactly what they talked about doing, which was sweep the Padres. Padres go into this series, on cloud nine, playing great baseball, and they just completely laid an egg. I mean, it was embarrassing to watch if you're a Padres fan for just this weekend alone. You had such high hopes and expectations coming into this series, and it's like they were, making just random errors, running into outs on the base paths. Mike Shildt once again getting outmanaged by Dave Roberts. Dylan Cease, couldn't find a strike zone if his life depended on it, completely shrinking in the moment. Manny Machado, once again, awful against the Dodgers. Fernando Tatis Jr., doesn't know how to hit any home runs. Weird decisions being made by this team. They can't hit with runners in scoring position. Bullpen management was wonky.
But other than that,
it was just very weird.
Other than those 13 things, it felt like it was pretty even.
Right.
I mean, here's the thing. Everyone was over the moon at the trade deadline. They addressed all their needs. At the end of the day, the Padres can address all of their needs all they want. That doesn't impact the Dodgers. So, if the Dodgers are going to get healthier, if the Dodgers are going to put the pieces together, it's funny because a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about LA was playing as poorly as anyone in the National League, right?
Yeah.
And they were dealing with injuries everywhere. And now I look up and I'm like, well, hold on. What I just saw against the Padres was I saw Blake Snell essentially shove. I know Tyler Glasnow's, possibility, what his impact can be. He wasn't perfect yesterday, but he started that game. Kershaw completely shoved. There's no excuse for that. They have Yamamoto and Ohtani also in their rotation. Think about that. It's so again, the Padres are improved, but you always have to compare yourself to the best in the league, best in class. Where are they compared to LA? Where are they compared to Milwaukee? Padres might be improved, but are they improved enough to make noise in the postseason? And coming out of this weekend, again, it's a long year. We got 38 games to play. Maybe it looks different October 1st, but you can't feel good coming out of this weekend if you're a Padres fan. And you're right. If they would have taken 2 out of 3 at Dodger Stadium, everyone would be telling me this is the front runner to win the National League, or maybe not because of Milwaukee, but right there to win the National League. But by getting swept, you can't say the same thing. You can't say coming out of the series, you feel like they have just as good of a shot to get to a World Series today, because it feels like a lot of questions come out of this past weekend, right? That's where I feel. It feels like it was an exposing weekend, and hopefully it isn't further exposed as we go through the season and into the postseason against really good teams.
Yeah, they're not at that level yet. You felt like they could get to that level, but they're going to have to prove it. I'm very cautious to sit here if they're in another situation like they were this past weekend and go into the series with the confidence that I had on Friday. I'm going to have to see it as I'm sure a lot of Padres fans are going to have to wait and see, because it is a continuous Lucy pulling the football moment every time, over and over and over again with this Padres team. They have momentum and they face the Dodgers, or they're in a big, playoff series, and then they just shrink. Mm-hmm. They shrink, and it's now happened over the last year here. Kevin detailed it very well in his article today. It's for anybody out there, the Padres won the season series from the Dodgers last year, and then the Dodgers beat them in the postseason. Okay, a lot of those wins against the Dodgers were early on in the season, and then when it got to crunch time and when the lights were the brightest, what happened? Padres shrunk. What's going on right now? The Padres just in general haven't played the Dodgers well this year, but the first series you have where the lights are the brightest, all the baseball world's eyes are on this series because of how this rivalry is right now, and they shrunk. They completely shrunk. And you said it really well yesterday that you do not, and we're talking all about this series this past weekend, you do not want to let this weekend series turn into a bad series against the Giants, because the last thing that this team can afford to do is take this weekend and not flip the switch here quickly against the team that you just recently swept last week. You have to come out tonight and play good baseball and kind of try to wash away this past weekend. Because if you come out and lose tonight, then it feels like this past weekend is a little bit of a carryover to this Giants series.
Yeah, and you're facing a good left-handed pitcher in Robbie Ray. And listen, I mean, this story is going to change. Over the course of 162, there's highs and lows. Everyone understands that. Unless you're going to win 110 games, there's going to be highs and lows. I think this story isn't fully written. The Padres could play well this week against the Giants. They could play well this upcoming weekend against the LA Dodgers, but they got to prove it to us now. It's like we're at the point of the season where everyone's expectations are through the roof. It's not about making the postseason. They're going to make the postseason, barring a collapse. It's not about making the postseason. It's about doing something you've never done. And to your point on Manny Machado from earlier, it's like Machado's got to be the guy to lead the way. Like, you're going to get into the postseason, and if you're in a series against the Milwaukee Brewers or the LA Dodgers or the Philadelphia Phillies or the Chicago Cubs, you can't have Machado all of a sudden, tuck his tail between his legs and go 1 for 12 in a series. Like, you can't feel good about your chances if Machado isn't leading the way for the San Diego Padres. Who else is going to lead them? Ramon Laureano, he's your savior. He's going to take you to the World Series and help you win the World Series. He's been a great piece, but give me a break. It's got to be Manny Machado. It's got to be more Fernando Tatis Jr. Merrill, to your point, who knows what's going to happen with him dealing with this injury. But like, Manny Machado has got to come up clutch. And I don't know if I'm able to trust him to come up clutch in the postseason. We haven't necessarily seen it. And this, again, there's that PTSD. You watch this past weekend, you're like, Machado's going to come through, right? And he doesn't. And then you look at the way last year ended the postseason. You're like, Machado's got to come through, right? And he didn't. And now we're counting on Machado to come through in 6 weeks in the postseason, and I hope he's able to do it. Because how else do you do it offensively? And don't tell me about the greatest bullpen in the sport. You got to do more on offense than they're doing right now, too.
Yeah, and by the way, the greatest bullpen in baseball, they weren't that great.
100%.
You had Robert Suarez yesterday coming in the 8th inning for some reason only Mike Shildt knows why, and gave up a lead. Or not a lead, but gave up the game-winning home run.
Yeah.
On 3 pitches.
Right.
So you can't tell me this bullpen is like the greatest bullpen in baseball when you're giving up a lead there. Like, you got to be locked down. Now, there's other things that I want to get to with Mike Shildt about this weekend, but just overall, this weekend was bad. If you are sitting there trying to cope and be like, you know what? Actually, it wasn't. I didn't have any expectations anyway. I didn't think they were going to win the division, blah, 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 blah. You can do that. You can cope all you want. I have 2 eyes, and most Padres fans have 2 eyes, and this weekend was bad. There's no other way around it. I don't know how to put it to you guys out there, but like, this was a bad series for the Padres, obviously. And you come out of this series now with some questions about this team that they're going to have to prove that those questions aren't valid. And it's up to them to do that.
How could you have no expectations heading into this weekend with a 1-game lead in the division?
I know. It's just
and if you didn't have expectations this weekend, how are you going to have any expectations heading into the postseason in 6 weeks? We'll get to your reaction and phone calls if you want to weigh in. 877-767-4760. That's 877-767-4760. Plus, the role that Mike Shildt played in the Padres getting swept this past weekend at Dodger Stadium. We'll have the latest on Jackson Merrill as well. Kevin Acee joins us at 5 p.m. This is Jon Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, make sure to download the iHeartRadio app and search for San Diego Sports 760. Put us in your presets. Put Jon and Jim in your presets as well. Listen live or listen back to any hour or interview on Jon and Jim. Kevin Acee will join us at 5. We're reacting to the Padres series over the weekend at Dodger Stadium. We're looking ahead as well to the Padres taking on the Giants, and we will take your calls, by the way, 877-767-4760. That's 877-767-4760.
I think the biggest takeaway from this series, I think, has to be from an on-field standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me if you agree. The starting pitching.
I mean, the starting pitching is a problem.
It's a problem.
Because then also what happens is when you have guys like Cease that are impossible to predict, right? Not trustworthy. When you have someone like Darvish that's giving his all, but he's not the same pitcher.
Nope.
You're taxing your bullpen, and you're also putting your bullpen in a weird spot. Because when you fall behind 4 and 6-0, you can't keep turning to Yuki Matsui and not using your leverage guys.
Yeah.
And then you start using leverage guys down 4, 5, 6 runs, and you're throwing off your chances to win when you're trying to protect leads. But yeah, I'm with you. It went from, for a moment when Michael King returns, you're like, wow, the Padres have the rotation that is necessary. It feels like maybe they finally put it all together. And then King goes out, and you come out of this weekend, you're like, well, you got Nick Pivetta. Because Cease was awful. There's no other way to look at it. Now, he had been good, but he was awful. Darvish, I mean, he finished his outing well, but like you allowed 4 runs in the first inning, including 2 home runs.
Right.
Like other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? So there's so many questions now out of this rotation. With the King situation with Cease and Darvish, there weren't questions briefly, and now there's a million questions.
Yeah. And the moving of, I mean, there's a lot of moving of the goalposts here going on from a lot of different angles. And if you want to be that person that says, you know what, guys, they're 2 games out of the division.
Yep.
They have a 97% chance to make the postseason today. Like, why are you guys upset? Okay, you can be that person. It's fine. Or you can be the person with actual, like, real expectations and understanding, like, what just happened and being like, look, they had a 1-game lead going in this weekend. They were riding a high. They were 14-3 in their last 17 games.
Mm-hmm.
Dodgers were playing awful baseball, just coming off of getting swept by the Angels. And now, instead of having a lead in the National League West after the weekend, they trail by 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to look at the whole picture here. And yeah, if you told me at the beginning of the season, and you said this, like, hey, would you sign up right now to be 2 games out on August 18th? I think everybody would have signed up for that, right?
I don't. Have I said that? I mean, I probably would sign up for it.
Well, I'm talking about, like, we talk a lot about that. Like, hey, would you sign up for this?
But I don't cope that way. I'm with you. It's more like I know what they had, and now I know what was lost. It doesn't mean the season was lost, but I understand 100%. An opportunity was squandered, and their path to the division has narrowed. Not impossible,
right? But
it's narrowed from where it was 3 days ago.
Yeah,
simple as that.
It's as simple as that. There's no trying to spin this thing and polish this giant bag of crap that we just watched this weekend. It was very bad. And there was not a lot of redeeming things coming out of this weekend series other than Ramon Laureano, right?
Yeah, and I'm not even in the moral victory game. I don't care. If they would have won all these games 11-10 and their pitching sucked, I'd be like, it's great they won 11-10. Or if they won every game 1-0 and their offense sucked, I'd be like, great, they won every game 1-0.
Oh, but John, they out-hit the Dodgers this series.
And none of that matters. None of it, especially with this, like, there's this huge hurdle to be overcome that just is the Dodgers right now. Yep. I don't even know if they're going to play each other in the postseason. They might not. It just feels like this huge hurdle that has to be overcome. Let's go to the phones. 877-767-4760. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. Call us. 877-767-4760. Let's start with Dave on line 1. Dave, you're back with us on Jon and Jim.
Yeah, thanks, guys. No, you're spot on. Let's start with Mike Shildt. Lifetime against the Dodgers, he's 23-32. So maybe Mike needs to go back inside a little bit and check out his strategies, because lately they haven't been working. And the crap that he's pulled over this weekend, unbelievable. Let's start next with the starting pitching. Even the MLB boys on radio this morning, Bowden and Duquette, were talking about the Padres starting pitching outside of Pivetta is in shambles. You've basically, after Pivetta, it's a wing and a prayer. And that's what you're going to take into the playoffs. Wings and prayers, and you hope. That's not what I would call a recipe for success. It's basically a lot of maybe, ifs, ands, and buts. Last, let's talk about the 1998 team, because a lot of times we hear about that. I was there. I was with that team. Here's the big difference. Team, when they walked on the field, you knew you were going to get hellfire every night. Caminetti, Greg Vaughn, Trevor, Kevin Brown. You had 4 quality starters. You had a great relief staff. They brought it every single night. This team is soft. It's emotionally fragile. I've seen it time and time again. Jim, that's kind of what you're alluding to here. This is why when they come up against the bright lights, it's all of a sudden they forget about the back of their baseball card. And I'll say this about Manny. You can talk to me all you want, Manny, about the back of your baseball card. You ain't got a ring, Bubba. And the way you're going right now, you ain't going to get one. That's
Dave,
the way I feel.
Appreciate
Dave
it. I was
just
just
fire today.
I mean, I would say I think it's too far. I think it's too far to say that they can't be this or they're not that because we don't know. I agree it was an awful weekend. I don't think I can now say Manny's never going to win a ring and this team can't win the postseason. I can't say that.
Because to your point, they might not even play the Dodgers in the postseason now.
In fact, it's very unlikely they could even meet until the NLCS. It's based on seeding. It's very unlikely. But by the way, if you get to the NLCS, you're feeling pretty good about yourself.
So are the Dodgers.
And so, but you got to get there.
Right. Yeah.
And coming off this week. So it's too hard to make definitive statements. Here's the definitive statement I'll make. They looked terrible this weekend. I nearly cursed. I never curse. Let's go to Eric. 877-767-4760. Eric, you're on with Jon and Jim.
Hey, guys. Thanks again.
Yeah,
spot on. Giant bag of crap, right? What the Padres did in Los Angeles. It's embarrassing. And especially to the Dodgers. You mentioned the hurdle. Well, the hurdle is not the postseason or August or a World Series. The hurdle is up the 5 freeway and it's Los Angeles. And every time we play these guys, it's going to be like, oh no, here we go again. And as a fan, at least, and I'm sure the players feel the same thing. And then, it's just so frustrating, right? But here's another thing, guys. I kind of like the emotion because this means Padre fans expect this team to win and win big and do it every year. You hear all this talk about other teams in other parts of the country, right? Are they going to sell? Is this a disappointing season? I look at their statistics, and the Yankees and the Mets are in second place. But it's unacceptable in cities like that. And I think it's starting to be the same way around here. Let's go Padres.
Appreciate you, Eric. Let's react to it all. Let's take a deeper dive on Mike Shildt's weekend. Not that he's winning or losing games, not that any one player is winning or losing games for them, but let's take a look at what Mike Shildt's role was in the Padres getting swept in Los Angeles. Kevin Acee will join us at 5 p.m. We're here until 6. We want to hear from you. 877-767-4760 or text us 70470. Start it with team. It's Jon and Jim.
All right, this update's brought to you by the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club. We'll start with the Padres. They got swept over the weekend by the Dodgers. They're now 2 games back of the Dodgers in the National League West. They return home tonight to face the Giants for a 4-game series. Petco Park, 6:40 first pitch. Nestor Cortez on the mound against Robbie Ray for the Giants. And SDFC won their 6th straight road match versus San Jose yesterday afternoon, 2-1, as they maintain their top spot in the Western Conference. And they're now tied with Cincinnati for the Supporters Shield in all of MLS. Next match is Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium against Portland. The French Quarter comes west when a taste of New Orleans hits Del Mar this Saturday, August 23rd, an epic celebration of New Orleans culture with authentic Cajun cuisine, drinks, and a full lineup of live music. Taste of New Orleans, sponsored by Bacardi.
All right, Kevin Acee is going to join us, our Padres Insider, at 5 p.m. Padres Giants tonight, game 1 of a 4-game set. We'd love to hear from you. 877-767-4760 or text us 70470. Start it with team. By the way, is realignment coming to baseball? We'll discuss today as well. The role Mike Shildt played, Jim, whether it was Friday, bunting down 2 runs late in that game, kind of playing for a tie. Then they only scored 1 run. They needed 2. Failing to challenge Saturday. He had like 100 guys thrown out on the bases. He failed to challenge, one of which would have been a safe call. Sunday, Robert Suarez comes in the 8th inning of a tie game, which is completely unconventional for Suarez. He's been in tie games, but it's very unconventional to be pitching him in the 8th inning in a tie game. And there's more in there, but each day, whether it was Friday, bunting, Saturday, lacking a challenge, Sunday, the role he played in the usage of his bullpen. What role did Mike Shildt play in this? Could it have gone differently if it was managed differently by Mike Shildt?
I would also put in the stubbornness of not playing Ryan O'Hearn.
Okay.
I would also put in the stubbornness of not changing up a lineup.
See, I would go there too. I just don't know if that's solely Mike Shildt or not. I always question. I don't know if that's Mike Shildt at the end of the day, or if there's a front office that spits out lineups for him.
I mean, he is the manager and he does write the lineup. And
well, he literally writes it, but is it? I mean, how much of it is handed to him and how much of it is all him? I get it. I get it.
I've been led to believe that Mike Shildt actually
is the one
has a pretty clear path to do what he wants to do. So I'm going to put most of that on Mike Shildt. Okay. Not saying it's not a collaborative effort from the organization to figure out the lineups every day.
Right.
But I think Mike Shildt has a lot to do with who's in that lineup and who's not in that lineup. So, that's the first thing. And it happened on Friday before the game. And you've already lost that matchup that you were hoping to have in the game that night with Ryan O'Hearn. You lost that matchup. So without even doing anything, Dave Roberts already is out managing you from that standpoint. Because if you weren't going to play Ryan O'Hearn against the lefty, Dave knows that you're saving him for a late game situation where Dave is going to bring in a lefty. So where's the advantage? And guess what? I think Ryan O'Hearn only faced lefties this weekend other than Tyler Glasnow yesterday.
Right.
So
yeah, I think that's right.
You didn't have an advantage when you were thinking you had an advantage. So that's the first thing. And then, like you said, the bunt, late in game with Freddie Fermin and, not challenging on Saturday. And then Robert Suarez yesterday. He wasn't obviously the main reason why they lost these games. The players are the main reasons why, and they deserve most of the blame this weekend. Because, you're not going to win many series when Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. and Xander Bogaerts and Jackson Merrill are completely MIA. And Jake Cronenworth.
Yeah, and when you get shut out, you're not going to win many games like they got shut out on Saturday.
Right.
To win.
But I do think it's a conversation to be had that, this is now a little bit of a pattern against the Dodgers in particular, that he tightens up. It feels like he tightens up. Mm-hmm. It feels like over the last year plus here, Dave has completely outmanaged Mike in every facet of the game. And in every big moment of the game, Shildt made the wrong call. With bringing Robert Suarez in the 8th inning, turned out that was the wrong call. Bunting Freddie Fermin instead of letting him swing away, that turned out to be the wrong call. Not challenging a safe call that, or an out call that should have been safe on Saturday, that was the wrong call.
Yeah.
So, and then not playing Ryan O'Hearn, we don't know if that was the wrong call or not, but still, that doesn't make any sense to me, not playing Ryan O'Hearn against lefties. So all in all, Mike had a bad weekend. And he's had a lot of bad series recently against Dave Roberts and the Dodgers. And it makes you question, okay, when the lights are the brightest in the postseason in particular, and down the stretch here, if the Padres somehow get back into this division race, I know there's 2 games back, but they're really 3. If there's another big series later on in the season, how is Mike Shildt going to react to those situations? Is he going to let the bright lights get to him, or is he going to make the right calls and do things that help the team win, and instead of kind of shrinking in the big moment?
Well, the funny thing is that was always the knock on Dave Roberts.
It was, yeah.
Until it wasn't. And some of that is the responsibility of maybe Mike Shildt, because Dave Roberts went through Mike Shildt on his way to a true World Series, right? The first for the Dodgers since 1988 last year. The O'Hearn thing's an interesting conversation moving forward. I think it's a very telling conversation, as in, was he acquired to solely hit right-handed pitching, or was he acquired to play every day? The answer through 2 weeks is he is a platoon player. They have not played him often against left-handed starting pitching. I think the question that we're asking ourselves is Ryan O'Hearn the all-star that has hit both lefties and righties the player that the Padres think they acquired? The reason I say that, Ryan O'Hearn in his career has not hit left-handed pitching at all. But he's hit it this year. Now, it hasn't been, lineup altering. He's got an 800 OPS against left-handed pitching, which is great, which is very good. He's hit 250, 260. He's been solid against left-handed pitching, very solid. He's hit 1 home run that came in a Padres uniform. So again, I'm all for going down that path. I think since he's a rental, if you want to get him in there every day, I understand it. He was having an all-star season. Here's my concern now. Has he lost his timing? He really hasn't done much here. Maybe they haven't put him in a situation to take advantage of it because he's not playing every day.
He had an RBI double yesterday in the game against the lefty.
I know, but he's also hitting sub 200 here, right?
He is, but here's the thing. For anybody that says that he has bad career numbers against lefties, fair point. You're right. He does. In his career, he has bad numbers against lefties. You want to know what he's done against lefties this season?
Is it 267 with an 812 OPS?
Correct. So I'm kind of banking on the now.
Right. It's good. I'm just saying, I don't know if Ryan O'Hearn getting in the lineup is changing over your lineup. I think he's a very good hitter. And I think he's a better hitter historically against right-handed pitching. You're right. This year he's been as good against lefties. Mm-hmm. And all of his power comes against right-handed pitching, by and large.
This is just my personal opinion. You don't make that trade and turn Ryan O'Hearn into a platoon guy. You just can't do that. You traded away a lot for Ramon Laureano, who's been fantastic, and Ryan O'Hearn to bolster your lineup. Mm-hmm. And if you're taking one of those guys and putting him on the bench, like, what are we doing here?
Well, he'll sit again today. Of course, the left-handed starting pitcher. They will go with Jose Iglesias over Ryan O'Hearn.
I don't get it.
It's the third straight game, at least, against a left-handed starter. They've done that. Maybe it's more than that.
And let me guess, the lineup's the same, right? You got Arise hitting second, yep. Tatis leading off, Manny's hitting third. Is Jackson in the lineup?
He is not.
Okay, so Jackson Merrill's not in the lineup tonight. I'm guessing Ramon Laureano's hitting cleanup tonight?
He is.
Okay, and then Xander Bogaerts hitting fifth?
And then Iglesias hits sixth.
Okay.
And then you have Fermin Cronenworth, and your center fielder is Bryce Johnson with Jackson Merrill. Not on the IL as of now, but not in the starting lineup, dealing with an ankle.
Okay.
So you still can't get O'Hearn in the lineup, even when you have a regular down.
I mean, yesterday, when Sheets and O'Hearn hit back-to-back doubles off a lefty, that should have been the sign to Mike Shildt. Hey, play your best players.
What's Iglesias done against left-handed pitching this year?
He's done worse than Ryan O'Hearn.
But he's got, again, the positional flexibility. But, yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, I know his numbers aren't good, so he can't be great against left-handed pitching. He's hit 263 with a 741 OPS. So he hasn't been awful.
No.
But you're right. O'Hearn's been better. That's 100% accurate. O'Hearn's been better.
And now you're kind of asking yourself, is Mike going to really do this in the postseason against a lefty? If there's a lefty on the mound in a postseason game, you're going to have Jose Iglesias out there. Like,
well, why would you be doing it now if you're not going to do it in the postseason? Or if you're doing it against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium, are you going to switch things up in October?
No, Mike is the king of never switching things up. He will not switch things up.
There's a lot of regularity with his lineup.
And actually, by the way, it's not even me being upset that Jose Iglesias is in the lineup instead of Ryan O'Hearn. It's me being upset that Luis Arise is in the lineup instead of Ryan O'Hearn. Because you look at Luis Ariza's numbers against lefties, he should be the one on the bench, not Ryan O'Hearn. And if you're talking about position flexibility, guess what? They both play first base. So I know that Ariz is Shilt's guy, and Shildt will go to war for his guys nonstop, and he never changes anything up. But that's the player who should be on the bench against lefties. If you want to put Jose Iglesias in there, do it. Fine. But you got to put O'Hearn in the lineup. And if you're going to have to sit a person, it's not Iglesias, actually. It's really Luis Ariz.
Which is fair, and that's 100% fair. And I saw some of that commentary over the weekend, and Ariz has struggled against left-handed pitching. I mean, he has struggled against left-handed pitching. He is in the lineup here today. We're going to react to that. On the other side, Padres lineup is out. They're playing game 1 against the San Francisco Giants. They're facing Robbie Ray here tonight. They're turning to Nestor Cortez. It feels like a big game for San Diego, trying to avoid a 4-game losing streak. We continue to react. Plus, Kevin Acee will join us at 5 p.m. right here on Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Kevin Acee is going to join us coming up at 5 p.m. We've got an update for you on the health of Michael King that we'll share with you at 3 p.m. Again, the Padres lineup for game 1 against the Giants is out. It does not include Ryan O'Hearn. So more of the same. Now, remember, I will say this. Now, the Padres have no slug, right? Literally 29th in baseball in slugging percentage. So there's only one team worse than them. I think it's Pittsburgh. So they have no slug. And of course, Ryan O'Hearn actually does slug, and he's on your bench for guys that don't hit for power, obviously, in a Rise and a Iglesias. I will say this. It has nothing to do with this whole conversation about Ryan O'Hearn. It's like, if we take the step back, spent 30 minutes killing them from this past weekend, and I'm all for it. But if you take the step back and say, well, they're 14-6 in their last 20 games, and their offense since the All-Star break has been better than their offense was before the All-Star break, that's all still true. I mean, all of it, even coming out of the 3 games in LA where they scored a combined 6 runs, right? They didn't score Saturday, 2 runs Friday, 4 runs yesterday. And by the way, against, we'll see what it takes to beat the San Francisco Giants, by the way. They're not exactly the LA Dodgers, but I do agree that this is an important game. You do not want this to turn into a 4-game losing streak, not against the lowly Giants. Just snapped a 7-game losing streak yesterday with a win. So find a way to win this game. We'll see if the offense looks better at home. It is confounding. The Ryan O'Hearn thing is at least interesting, and we'll see how this plays out tonight. The last couple of days against left-handed pitching, it did not look good at Dodger Stadium. Is anything going to change back at Petco Park here tonight? We'll find out. I just would make the point that their offense has been improved over the last 20-plus games, even though it looked like crap the past 3 days in Los Angeles against a right-handed starter, too. I mean, I guess they look better against the righty, but
they did score 4 runs against Robbie Ray last week up at Oracle.
Right.
I think Robbie Ray went, say that 5 times fast.
He went deep in that game.
I think he went 6 innings, gave up 4 runs.
It was like that second and third time through they started to get to him later in the game. Yeah.
And so okay, if you want to say, well, we scored 4 runs off him last time.
Right.
Sure, it's fine.
Yeah.
That's not the point we're making here. It's
just fair.
It's the general point of when there's a lefty on the mound, they don't have this optimal lineup that works. They just don't. They don't have the right pieces against the lefty to have a lineup that looks cohesive and deep and has your best players out there. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
So,
I would agree with that.
Like, that's a little bit of a problem because, it gives teams an opportunity to line up maybe a lefty and be like, okay, if we put a lefty out there, then we're going to face a team with a, worse off lineup. And back to the point of like Mike Shildt being incredibly stubborn here. He 100% is that right now. Luis Ariz is definitely one of his guys. But if you're playing the numbers, which it seems like Mike Shildt loves to play, he's more of a numbers guy than a gut feeling guy, I feel like. Like he goes with the numbers. Maybe he does play a little bit of gut.
But does he go with the numbers if we're saying he's sitting better numbers?
That's what I was going with, is like,
but that's for days on end.
I know it doesn't make any sense. He asked for the bunt on Friday night because of the numbers. Oh, you'd rather have runner on second and third with one out,
first and second, nobody out,
and then we could stay on the double play, even though Freddie Fermin's only hitting 3 double plays all freaking year long. But he's playing the numbers there. And then the other day, bringing in Robert Suarez in the 8th inning, which, I mean, it didn't work out. So hindsight's 20/20. But you haven't been doing that all year long. Why would you do it now? And you still need a closer. And if you've been parading around saying that Robert Suarez is your closer even after you got Mason Miller, then why are you bringing him in the 8th inning yesterday?
You bring up a good point. Remember what we said after the trade deadline. This is something I stand by. I like to think that over the course of 60 games, it sorts itself out and you figure out who you are. And here we are on the 18th of August. They have no clue who they are because they don't know what the right lineup is. They don't know the right usage of their bullpen. For having this elite, super dominant bullpen, it's been leaky at times. The home run allowed by Estrada the other day, the home run allowed by Suarez yesterday. They need to figure out who they are and stick with it, because here's the other point to your point. You don't play Iglesias all year against left-handed pitching and then get to October and play Ryan O'Hearn. Because then everyone is like out of position, so to speak. You got to get into some type of regularity. Why would you play Iglesias? Then you get to the postseason and Iglesias sits. That's going to be awkward for Iglesias and O'Hearn. You got to get into your rhythms and cadence now, because it's only ratcheting up. You're only asking more of the players as they go through it, and the calendar flips to October. Why would you do that in October if you weren't doing it in August?
Yeah.
So at some point, they're going to have to settle into what they want to do. And there's no way. Here's the other thing. There's no way that Shildt and Preller or Shildt and Preller's team that works on lineup construction and spits out analytics each and every day have not had this conversation. So I would love to be privy to it. But if it's such a point of contention, I'm surprised Mike Shildt would be able to start the lineup he has started against left-handed pitching 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive games against lefties. If Preller and his lieutenants really want O'Hearn in the lineup, I'm surprised that Shildt would be able to start that lineup 6, 7, 8 consecutive times against left-handed pitching.
It just feels like they're so hell-bent on that lefty-righty, lefty-righty lineup because they want to have a gap there and they want to make it difficult for the opposing manager to avoid lanes and all those types of things. But I mean, at some point you got to throw that out the window and just put your best guys out there.
Sure. I agree.
Regardless of names. Like who are your best? Who's playing the best for you? Put those guys out there.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the thing with Mike Shildt is he is to a fault so hell-bent on making sure that his guys are out there, regardless of who's on this roster. You know, they're 14-6 in their last 20 games.
Yep.
That's very good.
Mm-hmm.
But they're 9-6 since the trade deadline. Still
600 winning percentage.
Still good. That's good. You know, even though they got swept this past weekend by the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. I do think there's a little like, I don't think Mike Shildt fully knows how to incorporate all these pieces yet.
I agree.
I think that his bullpen management since the trade deadline, there's been no consistency there. It's almost like, well, we're going to now put this guy in, like you've had
in the 5th.
Yeah, you've had Jason Adam pitch in the 5th, in the 8th, in the 7th, and then same thing with Adrian Morejon, and same thing with Jeremiah Estrada. You know, other than and Mason Miller, you've seen come in the game early.
Sure.
And then now you're seeing Robert Suarez come in the 8th inning. I think Mike Shildt doesn't have a clue on how to manage his bullpen at this moment. Now he's got time to figure that out and define roles and have things be a little more clear. But I think he's struggling with this roster right now, trying to figure out how to make things work because he has a bunch of new toys and he doesn't know how to organize them yet.
Guys like roles. Everyone knows that.
Yes.
Like this is literally their jobs. They want to know what they're asked to do. Is O'Hearn supposed to be the guy coming off the bench late to provide that power for this team? Maybe that's why they acquired him. Maybe he's here to give them a weapon off their bench, but that doesn't make any sense to me because Gavin Sheets exists.
Right.
So why would you acquire like Gavin Sheets 2.0?
Like we're going to have two players on our bench.
On the bench. So yeah, I'm with you on that. And you need to establish roles also, whether it's Jeremiah Estrada or Mason Miller or Robert Suarez, fill your role. Yeah. If you're coming in the 7th inning, come in the 7th inning, not the 4th one night and the 9th the other. Fill the roles.
Because what you did yesterday in the 8th inning is something that you haven't done all year long with Robert Suarez. I could be mistaken.
I don't think in the 8th inning he came in.
But why would you bring in your closer in the 8th inning in a tie game on the road? That makes zero sense.
Right, because you're not extending the game out to the 9th inning. There's already going to be a 9th inning.
And if your argument for that is, well, it's the top of their lineup, we want our closer to shut down that inning. Is Mason Miller not capable of doing that?
I think what we're learning is Mason Miller is a better option than Robert Suarez, truthfully.
Yes.
Who are you going to trust more with seasons on the line?
Right now?
I mean, just in general, the guy that throws 104 with the filthy slider or Robert Suarez who throws a hittable fastball at times. I mean, it's not like his numbers are awful, but he's been beaten. Look,
let's be real here. The two best relievers in their bullpen are Jason Adam and Adrian Morejon.
Interesting. I mean, again, I really like we've seen from Mason Miller since that home run he allowed.
I do too.
Arizona.
I do too. But if you were to tell me right now, who do you have the most confidence in?
Probably Adrian Morejon.
Or Jason Adam.
Maybe.
So like those guys are being used in the 6th and 7th innings, and you still got to get through the last 9 outs or 6 outs.
I think what we've determined in this first hour of the show is like the Padres need to figure out with all these new pieces who they are. Because there's only 38 games to figure it out. They're going to make the postseason, barring a collapse. But they need to figure out what the best version of the Padres are heading into October. We've got updates on the health of Jackson Merrill and Michael King to share on the other side. Kevin Acee Well, join us at 5 p.m. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update's brought to you by Rapid Radios. We'll start with the Padres. They got swept over the weekend by the Dodgers. They went into the series with 1-game lead in the National League West. They end the weekend 2 games back in the National League West. They now return home to face the Giants for a 4-game series starting tonight at Petco Park. 6:40 first pitch. Nestor Cortez on the mound versus Robbie Ray for the Giants. And SDFC, they won their 6th straight road match for San Jose yesterday afternoon, 2-1. They maintained their top spot in the Western Conference, and they are now tied with Cincinnati for the Supporters Shield in all of MLS. Their next match is Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium against Portland. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and an extra 5% off.
Previously on Jon and Jim. That didn't go well.
Biggest series of the year, and the Dodgers deliver.
A sweep up at the Ravine.
The lead in the National League West is 2 games, again with a tiebreaker in the Dodgers' back pocket.
Tonight, the Giants are at Petco. Can the Padres stay focused with a blue machine coming down this weekend? Now, live from the studios of San Diego Sports 760, it's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Jon and Jim, hour 2, here until 6 p.m. We do have Kevin Acee joining us today at 5 p.m. We also have a 4-pack of tickets to give away to see Nelly. So we're going to bring back Trainwreck Radio for that. We got Nelly tickets coming up August 27th.
Okay.
North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. So a chance to win tickets to see Nelly with Ja Rule, by the way. So we'll give those away in the 4 o'clock hour. We have updates here on Michael King. We should have more on Jackson Merrill later. The update on Merrill is he's not in the lineup. He hasn't been placed on the IL.
That's not a good sign.
It's not a good sign. The update on King, apparently, according to Marty Caswell, is at least encouraging because Marty wrote within the last 20 minutes. Padres pitcher Michael King says he's feeling much better, getting set to throw a bullpen at Petco Park shortly. This is 25 minutes ago. Remember, he said he hoped to pitch for them in Seattle when he's eligible to come off the IL. So that's still looming, Jim, kind of over the season. All the disappointment from this past weekend, rightfully so. But what's looming over some of their more aspirational goals is Michael King's health. He's thrown 2 innings since the middle of May. They're going to need him, and they're going to need him looking like Michael King when he returns.
It's August 18th, and all we've been saying since the start of the season is just can't wait till this rotation gets fully healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That was 4 months ago, 4.5 months ago.
It's been a while.
So to continue to wait for this rotation to get fully healthy, we might be continuing to wait for the rest of the year. I don't know, nor do I have that much faith that Michael King is just going to automatically come back and be Michael King. He came back and he immediately got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yu Darvish is a guy with around a 6 ERA right now. You know, Cease has pitched much better since the All-Star break, but at any moment he can completely crumble. When the lights get too bright or he's in a big game situation, that's not the guy I want on the mound for the Padres. Nick Pivetta has been the most consistent pitcher of the bunch, but you need more than that. And so just sitting here waiting for this rotation to get fully healthy again. I mean, we might be waiting for a while because does anybody expect Michael King after his, shoulder issue, or I guess not even a shoulder issue, it was like a pinched nerve issue because he slept wrong. And then now his random knee issue. Yeah, you know what? Of course he's going to come back and be Michael King the second he gets back on the mound.
No, and the funny thing is, it's actually the bigger story than getting swept, probably.
Probably,
at Dodger Stadium.
And Jackson Merrill's injury too.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, can you overcome getting swept in a series over the course of a year? Of course you can, even by a team in front of you. But the impact here is the Padres' overall health. And it is so critically important. You cannot overstate it. I go back to last postseason with the Joe Musgrove situation. I go back to 2020 with Clevenger and whomever. Who was the pitcher?
Nelson Lamet.
Yeah, then we never heard from again. To Nelson Lamet. 2022, they run out of starting pitching. There might be favorable situations in the postseason because of off days, but that doesn't make all of a sudden Michael King good. Okay, you have an extra off day.
Yeah.
Does that save your season? Does that make your team play better? You need Michael King. I don't see the path without Michael King to win series after series after series after series in the postseason. I really don't.
And Kevin's been on it, to his credit. The bullpen is being used
at a high rate.
So much. You got no length out of your starters this weekend. You essentially had a bullpen game on Friday night.
Mm-hmm. Well, you did.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I know Randy Vasquez did come in there in the second inning, but still, it was a bullpen game on Friday night. Dylan Cease, he was awful on Saturday, turned into the majority of that game being thrown by your bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday, I mean, they had to keep Darvish out there because they could not afford to take Darvish out early in the game. But still, it wasn't like Darvish gave you great length yesterday either. This rotation needs to eat up more innings and be more consistent. Because this bullpen, a bullpen that Mike Shildt, at this moment in time, I don't think he knows how to properly use yet, is being used way too much.
Yeah, what's weird to me also is like, and I understand it. I was the one that kind of advocated for it. I'm like, I don't think they have any desire to use all 5 of their high leverage guys. There's even 6 now.
They've used them so much.
But they use them in weird manners. Like there's one night where they use like 3 or 4 of them, and there's another night where they use like 1, 2, 3 of them. I think they have a plan for what they want to do once they get to the postseason. The problem is I don't think they have a good feel for how to use them before the postseason. Trevor Hoffman might have said it Monday. He was like, last Monday, he's like, you need to keep these guys rested enough for when you really want to unleash them in October. But the issue is like, what role they have now, is it going to be different than the role they have in October? I think the answer is probably yes. And then B, are you keeping them healthy in the manner in which you're using them right now? Or are you not taxing them right now in the manner in which they're using them right now? The answer is no. Nobody in the rotation is giving them length other than Nick Pivetta. They have one pitcher that's giving them 6 innings consistently. Everyone else is 4 1/3, 4 2/3, maybe 5 innings. And that is a problem for the bullpen.
Like, does anybody want to bet me out there that Nestor Cortez
goes under less than 5 innings?
Less than 5 innings tonight? Because I'll bet you on that, and I'd win that bet probably.
Probably. It is the Giants, so you never know. But yeah, you're right.
Like, if he gets through 4 1/3, I mean, Shildt loves, and I mean, he loves to take guys out with 2 outs in an inning.
Yeah.
He rarely lets guys finish innings off. He loves to have a guy come in out of the bullpen with 2 outs to finish an inning, go back in the dugout, and then come up the next inning. Like, that's his MO with the bullpen. He doesn't like to have guys come in to start clean innings. He wants it so, guys come in to finish off innings and then they start the next inning. Like, I mean, it's a weird strategy. For the most part, it's worked for him, but there's going to be that time where if Mike doesn't make the right call and he gets uncharacteristic like he did this past weekend, it's going to come back to bite him in the ass like it did this past weekend against the Dodgers. And you just hope that doesn't happen in a postseason series.
Yeah, I think what we're banking on, tell me if I'm wrong, what we're banking on right now in the Padres returning to like their ways is like, well, look at this schedule. Even without Michael King, even with Dylan Cease struggling in his last outing, even with Yu Darvish at the 6 ERA, we're basically saying the Padres are better than their schedule. And by and large, I would agree with that. But it doesn't solve the bigger issue, which is, are they good enough against the really good teams? Right? Like, just because you're going to make the postseason by beating, let's say, the White Sox and beating the Diamondbacks at home and the Rockies on the road and the Rockies at home, theoretically, does that solve the issues at hand? We've had the conversation the first half of the year. It's like, they're beating up on bad teams, which gets you to the postseason, but are you good enough against good teams? And I thought for a moment they answered the bell there, swept the Mets at home.
Played well against the Red Sox, played well against the Phillies.
Yeah, you look up and you're like, well, you're 2-8 against the LA Dodgers. Milwaukee's won 15 of its last 16 games. I'm just asking the question, like, are they better than their schedule, or are they better than the teams they need to beat in the National League to get somewhere?
It's a good question.
You know what I mean? And I don't know the answer to it. It's just and maybe I'm overreacting to the one series, and it is recency bias, because you're right. Phillies, Red Sox, Mets in there in the last month. But it just seems like coming off this series is like, who are they beating up on? How are they getting to the postseason?
The reason why everyone's upset today is because it wasn't just another series this weekend, even though there's some people out there that want to claim it was just another series. It wasn't. It was against the Dodgers, their biggest rival. You can't tell me that this weekend series, these two teams didn't go into it thinking, oh, you know what, just another series. Sure. The Dodgers literally said on, I think it was either Wednesday after the game or Thursday, Will Smith is on record saying that we want to go and sweep them. That both teams understood the importance of this series.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, they can rebound and there's time and whatnot. I don't think the division's in play particularly anymore, because it's
really,
I just don't. I I'm going to have to see it to believe it. That's where I'm at with this division. Like,
Okay.
you're going to have to prove it. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, they can do it, because it's going to be another Lucy pulling the football situation again. I'm not going to get caught there. I'm just not. Go out and prove me wrong. Go out and prove that you can do it, because you haven't. So until proven otherwise, I don't think you have it. I don't think you have it in you or what it takes to overtake the Dodgers and win the division.
I mean, you could very well be right, obviously. I mean, statistically, they're at a disadvantage because they're 2 back with 38 to play. I'm not.
But I was
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm just saying I'm unwilling to go there yet with 38 games to play, and the Dodgers and Padres still playing 3 times.
But like, back to your point about, like, are they better than their schedule, or are they just
right?
Yeah, are they just better than bad teams? Another part of this weekend series that turned into a concerning thing is if they have to open up the postseason as a wild card team, particularly on the road. That's a scary thought, because they're not a great road team. They played the Dodgers on the road this weekend and they stunk. They were awful. Playing on the road to open up the postseason
is a challenge, obviously.
Will be difficult.
Yeah, you're probably an underdog.
Now, if they open up at home, you feel pretty confident.
You're a favorite.
But if you open up on the road, say against the Cubs, right? Or I don't think the Phillies, because I think the Mets aren't going to get there, but like, most likely you'd face the Cubs on the road. That's kind of where you're looking at here if you do not get the first seed.
It's almost like the only scenario, isn't it? Right now, it's not Milwaukee. It's not the Dodgers. Yeah, it's almost like it's going to be Chicago, either there or here, potentially.
Right. And Philly, I don't think the Mets are overtaking the Phillies.
No, it's a 5-game difference.
And if the Mets did overtake the Phillies, then you might be dropped down to the 6th seed.
They're not going to.
They're not.
Yeah.
So yeah, the scenario that you're looking at here is, if you don't win the division, which again, they're going to have to go prove me wrong, because I'm not trusting these guys. It would either be on the road at Wrigley for 3 or here at Petco against the Cubs.
But back to the under 500, over 500 point. I get it. Moving target. The Padres, among all the NL contenders, are the worst against teams over 500. They're 45-24 against teams under 500. 45-24. That's how they're going to get to the postseason.
They're great at beating up on bad teams.
They're 24-31 against teams with a 500 record or greater. And that's not a great mark. And it doesn't lead you down a path where you're like, we're going to win 4 straight series against teams over 500 in the postseason. But we shall see. All right, we can continue to react. We'll hear from Mike Shildt prior to today's game as well with the media, the latest on Jackson Merrill and Michael King. Plus, Kevin Acee is going to join us coming up at 5 p.m. We've got the wrap to get to. We have his That Good to get to. We've got these Nelly tickets to give away as well in the 4 o'clock hour. We've got you covered. Full reaction to this weekend at Dodger Stadium. Looking ahead to the Giants series that gets underway tonight on Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim, the iHeartRadio Music Festival back. Live performances by Bryan Adams, Ed Sheeran, and more. September 19th and 20th at T-Mobile in Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. Tickets at AXS.com. While the world is listening on iHeartRadio, you could be there. 3 chances every weekday for you to win your trip for 2 plus $1,000 spending money. Next chance to win, 5 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. All the info at sportssd.com/festival.
Do you think now that the Padres are home, somebody in that dugout in the media will ask Shildt about his refusal to play Ryan O'Hearn in the lineup?
Yeah. I think the lineup will be almost has to be addressed. I mean, my jaw dropped when nobody asked about Freddie Fermin bunting on Friday night because it was like the story of the game, basically, but it wasn't even brought up. And I don't really understand as to why, or maybe it was brought up and I missed it because they played back the Shildt press conference, but I think we saw it in its entirety. I think it's going to be brought up. The issue is, as you and I know with Mike Shildt, is he gets defensive with it. So it's really about how you pose it.
Yeah.
It's like, you almost have to ask it like, what is it about Ryan O'Hearn and Gavin Sheets that gives you such a good chance to win with them pinch hitting off your bench?
You know what you have to do with Mike Shildt is you have to throw the numbers in his face. Because Dennis, over the weekend, I think it was yesterday, he asked Mike Shildt about Manny Machado's struggles in August so far. And he specifically said he's got 1 RBI in August. And Mike, of course, went to in about 8 days, we'll look up and he goes, oh my gosh, he's got like 7 or 8 RBIs in his last 5 games.
Right.
But I feel like you need to throw numbers in his face to kind of make the point and kind of take away the like excuse making that he will throw at you. And it's a very simple thing to say to Mike, go, hey, so this year, Luis Ariz against lefties has a 79 WRC plus and a 349 slug hitting 263, while Ryan O'Hearn this year has a 130 WRC plus against lefties hitting 267 with a 450 slug. Why is Luis Ariz in the lineup every day over Ryan O'Hearn?
Bro, you're not asking that.
I know you're not, but I'm not.
I'm not same way.
I'm not asking that, but
nobody's asking that.
But throwing numbers in Mike Shilt's face to like,
yeah, but you're not then asking. You're then making your point. Like you know what I mean? That's a leading.
It is.
You're basically making him defensive by asking it that way.
Probably.
You're saying this guy's better than this guy. Why are you doing the opposite? Like you need to hear it through. You need to see it through his eyes.
But I don't agree with what how he sees it through his eyes.
I know. I understand it. And I think a lot of people agree with you. And I think a lot of people are frustrated specifically with the fact that they're playing a lineup and they're coming off 3 consecutive losses. 2 of them against left-handed starters, and tonight's another left-handed starter.
Yeah, I understand that. So maybe you've posed the question as like, Ryan O'Hearn has been mostly a platoon player for you. Was that the thought process going into acquiring him, that to turn him into a platoon player, even though his numbers against lefties this year are pretty decent?
Right, and maybe do you expect it to change? I mean, listen, I don't think Shildt would ever do this. He's not going to knock one of his own players. I mean, the truth is, for all the O'Hearn love, and there's a lot of it out there. I mean, I'm playing this straight lineup. He's 6 for 33 in a Padres uniform. Again, it's not a large sample size, but it's not like this guy is reincarnated Pujols prime.
He's not doing what Ramon Laureano's doing.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. And maybe with opportunities, he would be. And I agree he should be given more opportunities. I do agree with that. But I also would say, okay, he homered off a lefty. He doubled yesterday off a lefty. I mean, okay, we're not talking about
that's
the greatest 33 at-bats in Padres history.
No, I get that. But I think when you see Ryan O'Hearn have moments against lefties this year so far with the Padres, and their refusal to still not play him against lefties, you're kind of wondering, what does he have to do to get in this lineup? If he's looking really bad against left-handed pitching, and he has no hits, then okay.
Right.
But
I get your point.
Like he's got that big home run against the lefty. He hit a big RBI double yesterday against the lefty, and he still can't crack the lineup over Luis Ariz, who has been significantly worse against lefties this year than Ryan O'Hearn.
Good point. The point is completely valid. I'm just looking at who they're facing coming up. Like, here's the thing. I said this the day of the deadline. It's like 3 out of every 4 pitchers you face are right-handed. It hasn't played out that way. And maybe it's not. Maybe it's 3 out of every 5. But for example, after today, you go right against the Giants. So the point becomes a little more mute. Now, I get it. When you face left, and then all of a sudden you haven't seen this dude in 72 hours, like, where is this guy? That is challenging, maybe. And you're right. In the postseason, you could see back-to-back left-handed starters. It's going to be based on who you're playing.
Right.
But, like, for example, you'll see O'Hearn tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and then maybe out of it. Maybe if he comes through, maybe in those 3 games he combines for 4+ hits, and they say, you know what, he's playing well. He's helping us win. We're going to play him against lefties or righties. I feel like that happened with Gavin Sheets, by the way. They didn't play him against lefties until it became like he forced his way through and started playing against left-handed pitching, and he performed to an extent against left-handed pitching. But I get the point on O'Hearn. I don't think it's maybe as crucially, like, I don't think it's like the end-all be-all is my only point. I don't think playing Ryan O'Hearn every day against left-handed pitching is the end-all be-all for this team reaching its ceiling. I really don't.
I agree with that. But I do think it is a talking point, and it's something to monitor of like, all right, you made all these moves, and Bryce Johnson is still in the lineup today. along with Jose. I know it has to do with circumstance because Jackson Merrill's out of the lineup.
Yeah.
But like, you still have a bottom of the lineup today of Cronenworth, Iglesias, and Johnson. Like, wasn't the whole point is to make these moves so you don't have any weak links? You're not playing, and again, it's a lefty, so you don't want to put 6 lefties in your lineup tonight. But still, I mean, look, and I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope Bryce Johnson tonight goes 3 for 3 off Robbie Ray. Same thing with Jose Iglesias. But I'm just looking at it on paper here, and I'm saying to myself, you made the upgrades, you made the moves, and you're still not like, you acquired Mason Miller to pitch Mason Miller a lot. How many times did he pitch in the Dodgers series? Once?
Not more than that. I mean, but that's the problem with having good bullpens. If you're losing, what role do they play?
And that's the risk that you make
I mean,
when you trade away your top prospect and third best prospect in baseball to get a reliever. You might not see him a bunch.
No doubt. It was a risk reward, and it remains a risk reward. All right, we need to get into Manny Machado on the other side. You mentioned it with Dennis asked to Mike Shildt. He's got 1 RBI this month. What is going on right now with Manny? Plus your chance to win Nelly tickets in the 4:00 hour. Kevin Acee will join us at 5. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update's brought to you by Rapid Radios. Padres got punked this weekend by the Dodgers, getting swept over the weekend. They're now 2 games back in the National League West when they went into the series 1 game up on the Dodgers. The Padres return home limping back to Petco Park tonight. 6:40 first pitch against the Giants as they start a 4-game series against them. Nestor Cortez on the mound for the Padres against Robbie Ray for the Giants. And SDFC won their 6th straight road match versus San Jose yesterday afternoon, 2-1, as they maintain their top spot in the Western Conference. They're now tied with Cincinnati for the Supporters Shield. Their next match is Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium versus Portland. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
All right, what's the update here, Jim, on Jackson Merrill from Mike Shildt? We will hear from Shildt coming up. We'll hear from Kevin Acee at 5, but what's the latest here on Jackson Merrill from Mike Shildt?
Do you think that Mike Shildt gave any information to the media about Jackson Merrill?
I think he probably said, we're very optimistic. We're hearing very good things, but he's not. Yes, he's not in the lineup, but he's like Superman.
So Mike Shildt on Jackson Merrill said that he had a, quote, decent day with his ankle. He's not in the lineup, and they're still evaluating whether he will be available for anything. And they continue to assess the severity of the injury.
Okay, so that means
they're not telling anybody anything.
Well, the interesting thing is you typically aren't going to play a man down just to prove a point. You'll do it for a day.
No, he's injured. He's not. He's
no, but I'm saying like you'll do it for a day. But if you're going to place a player on an IL, you're typically going to place a player on an IL to get the additional position player, right? So I feel like we'll know more within 24 hours. You can't just sit this guy and keep him on your active roster. He either is going to play or he's going to go on the IL. Like it's to the point with Merrill where it's been so herky-jerky, hasn't it? Early, it was the hamstring. Then there was the concussion. Now there's the ankle. Second-year player. There have been some ups. It's like you look at the numbers. The numbers are fine. He's put together a fine year. Nothing spectacular at all. It's been a fine year. It hasn't been a disastrous year for Jackson Merrill, but man, he can't afford to go on the IL. Like all of a sudden, you'd start having a little bit more of that lost season conversation if Jackson Merrill went on the IL, because it's just been okay for Merrill this year.
Yeah, I said a couple months ago, too early to call this a sophomore slump for Jackson Merrill, just because the numbers, and I was matching up the numbers last year through, I think, 52 games,
right,
with the numbers this year through 52 games, including, all his injuries. So I just was looking at that, and he was actually worse through his first however many games I said last year than he was this year. But now we're at a point where I think it's fair to say, yeah, this is a sophomore slump season for Jackson Merrill.
Yeah, he's not matching.
No, this is a down year for him. He's got a 730 OPS. Last year he had 826 OPS.
Right.
He had 24 home runs last year. He's got 9 this year. Now, he played every day last season. He played 156 games. But there's no way around it. This is a down year for Jackson Merrill. He's been fine, but you can't afford him to just be fine and be your cleanup hitter, because that's where he's batting right now in this lineup. Once again, it's Mike Shildt being stubborn, putting Jackson Merrill as your cleanup hitter. He's been,
Is he cleanup right now tonight? Oh, no, obviously not. He's out. But he's been cleanup. You're right. He is literally an average hitter. His OPS plus, on base plus, slugging plus is 101, 1% better than league average, 1% better than league average. So he's been a very
average player,
sure. Which again, if that's going to be his floor, it's not the end of the world. Well, it's not he hasn't had an end
floor.
If this is his floor, it better not be his ceiling.
No, yeah.
But if this is his floor, he's maintained a high enough floor where he's been an average or above average major league hitter. Yeah. You're hoping his ceiling is closer to what we saw, obviously, as a rookie.
Yeah. And over the weekend, nobody had a good weekend other than Ramon Laureano for the Padres. But one of the bigger moments in this weekend series was Jackson Merrill misplaying a ball in center field and dropping it.
There was that.
Because you could have got out of the inning. I think it would have been 3-0. Instead, it ballooned to, I think, 5 or 6.
And the pitch is thrown.
Yeah. And Cease had no command whatsoever in the first place. I mean, Cease literally to start that game, pitched them out of that game before the Padres could even have a chance to settle in.
Mm-hmm.
That game was over in the first inning. You can't walk 4 guys in the first and expect your team to, be competitive, especially with the way the offense was performing. And Blake Snell, good luck against that. So, yeah, Jackson Merrill had a bad weekend. But, the one player that we talk about a lot on this show, heavy is the head that wears the crown. Look, Manny in his career against the Dodgers, safe to say, not great. He has not performed at a level for all the talk that he talked when he got here in a Padres uniform to perform the way he's performed against the Dodgers over his career. It's not great. And once again, this weekend against the Dodgers wasn't good. He was awful against them in the postseason last year. He was awful against them this past weekend and has been, frankly, bad against them this year as well. He had one game where he had 5 RBIs. That was the game that they won 11-1. But every other game against the Dodgers, he's been really bad.
I'm more concerned just about how he's playing.
That too.
Which in August has been awful. Honestly, the Dodger conversation I would love to have if they're playing the Dodgers in another meaningful series, whether it's this weekend or the postseason. Yeah. But certainly in the postseason. But what matters to me more is his play. And his play right now, what happened? 15 games in August, 1 RBI, a 207 batting average, and a 551 OPS. I thought he was going to put together the complete year. We were there. He was 4 months into his season. He was coming off a month in July. He hit 333 for the month. Hit a 1,000 OPS for the month in July. He was putting together his second best season as a Padre. Behind the year, he finished second in NL MVP voting in 2022. And then this 15 games, amazingly, they've kind of overcome it. You've mentioned 15 games are 9-6.
Yeah.
So it's not like the team has gone into a complete tailspin, although they did this past weekend. But I'm surprised by it. I thought he was going to put together the full year. He still can. He's capable of fully bouncing out of it. But time to wake up a little bit. We said 2 weeks ago, 30 home runs, 100 RBIs. Man, he's going to get there. I don't know about that. He's got 20 home runs. He's got 72 RBIs. He would need a unbelievable finish to get to 30 home runs and 100 RBIs. So he's got a big 6 weeks coming up for him. He's got a bigger October coming up for him. Huge.
Yeah, and historically in his career, he has been a bad player in October. He does not come through in October. It's factual. His numbers show that he is not a good postseason player.
He hasn't been.
No. But, after this bad weekend, go out there against the Giants this week, put up a good 4-game stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Go hit a couple of home runs. Drive in 4 or 5 runs over these next 4 days. Put the weekend behind you. Start hitting again. Start producing again, right? Go out there and, help the team win offensively. Because, we haven't talked about it because it happened on Friday night, but, you could put a lot of blame on Manny for Friday night's loss because he misplayed that ball. I forget what inning it was, but that bunt, he should have caught that. And he would tell you he should have caught that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it led to 2 runs. And then to go 1 for 12 in the series with, I think, a little dribbler as your only hit, that's not good enough, dude. You got to be better, man. In the bigger moments that this team is going to have coming up here in the next month and a half plus, you're going to have to be better. This stuff this past weekend, I ain't going to cut it in the future here, right? You're in crunch time. You need to be their best player.
And it's now or never for me because it's if you're not counting on Manny when he's 33, you're not counting on him when he's 35. Let's be honest, you can't fight time as an athlete. There's very few hitters that are going to get better with this type of aging. There's no real reason to expect Manny Machado to have a better 2026 than 2025, is there? Why would anyone expect that? There's nobody that should expect Manny Machado to be better in 2027. So, your window is closing. Machado's going to be here a long time. But for him to be this impactful of a player, the window is closing. You got a year or two beyond it. But when he's 36 and 37, you're not going to be saying heavy is the head that wears the crown. You need to carry this team. That's not even realistic. You're going to turn to the 37-year-old Manny Machado in 3 or 4 years and be like, you got to carry this team or they're not going to win the World Series. Well, then you got problems. Mm-hmm. So it's now that he needs to carry the team because in the future, it's got to be Jackson Merrill and Fernando Tatis Jr. carrying the team, not Manny Machado. But now it's got to be Manny.
Well, I don't really have much faith in Fernando Tatis Jr. carrying this team.
Well, in the postseason, I do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
for
really
sure.
the conversation. I'd rather have him carry the team in the postseason than any other time.
Well, you're going to need to play well in the regular season to get to the postseason.
But they've proven they can. Like they have routinely, assuming 2025 they're in, they've been in more often than they've been out in Fernando Tatis Jr.'s career. Maybe 4 for 6 or whatever, 4 for 7. Merrill, this would be back-to-back years. They can get to postseasons. Like they'll be a favorite to get to the postseason next year. Agree? Yes.
The next year, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they're going to get to postseasons, and if they get there this year, it's 3 out of 4. If they get there next year, it's 4 to 5 or whatever it is. So they're going to get to the postseason. It's just in the postseason, players like Manny Machado need to step up. I mean, end of sentence.
Yeah, and they have the roster to do it. Like there's no question here that their roster is still like when healthy, and that's another thing too. Is like when healthy. Their roster is one of the better rosters in baseball when healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree?
Yeah,
with that?
I agree. I mean, I don't think,
and that's what we said. We never proclaimed them to be the best roster in the sport. I think after their 14-3 stretch, yeah, absolutely. You want to put this roster up against anybody in baseball? Sure, I'll go. I'll do that, right? But then they show their flaws over the weekend, and it makes you kind of question things of like, well, do they have a better roster, like one of the better rosters in baseball, or is it just they were playing hot and it made us feel like they had one of the better rosters in baseball?
Well, if you want to play the health game, then you have to play the game with a team like the Dodgers.
That's
and if you
correct.
gave the Dodgers their pieces back that they were missing, then of course, even probably the most unbiased or the most biased Padres fan would probably take the Dodgers roster
when healthy
over the Padres roster. But that doesn't mean the Padres don't have a roster that's not capable of winning in the postseason. They do. They have the depth. They have the bullpen. The rotation is the question mark for me right now. As much as the offense, I mean, it's honestly more the rotation right now for me than it would be the offense. All right, let's get to Is That Good? The best and worst of the sports weekend. On the other side, we'll get to the wrap coming up. We're going to hear from Kevin Acee, our Padres Insider, at 5. We have Nelly tickets to give away in the 4 o'clock hour. We're here until 6. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, we're going to hear from Mike Shildt coming up with more on tonight's lineup against the Giants and why Ryan O'Hearn is on the bench. You'll hear that coming up at 4 p.m. Kevin Acee will join us at 5. We've got a lot to get to. We have Nelly tickets to give away. We'll do that in the 4 o'clock hour. But right now, let's get to this.
Is that good?
Wilcox, snapper, Hugh.
What do you got?
Fernando Tatis Jr. He has not homered in his last 100 at-bats or 100 plate appearances. That's the second time this year he's had a stretch of 100 bats or more without hitting a home run. Brent, is that good?
No, he's not good. Are you kidding me?
Is he on exactly 100 right now, or is it more?
Right now?
Yeah.
It's 97 at bats, 100 plate appearances.
Yeah, he's on 100.
Or,
I was just curious.
It's like right. It's like right at
100 or 150 because I have no feel for it. It feels like forever. So
well, he's
is
got
it
4 homers since May 28th.
insane? He's been stuck on 17 home runs for forever. We asked if he was going to hit 25. Now it's like, is he going to hit 20? 20? He's got to. I mean, there's 38 games left, but I've said that he's got to for months.
Again, hit 7 in the postseason, and this will all go away.
All right, how about this? SDFC, another road win. Jim's been telling you that in his updates. They are tied now for the most points in Major League Soccer with Cincinnati, going for a supporters shield in their first ever season. Is that good?
It is good.
An amazing story playing out right here in San Diego with SDFC winners again, this time in come from behind fashion at San Jose.
They have been amazing.
Amazing.
Simply incredible. They are one of the best stories in sport right now, just because of, they're an expansion team. Yeah. They're the best team in MLS. They are just playing at a different level, and they've had so many players in and out of that lineup for Mikey Vares. It's like they just continue to win, and they continue to be exciting. And it's an incredible story what they're doing right now here in San Diego. Over the weekend, Dylan Cease, is it good when you walk 4 in the first inning and you walk 6 overall? Is that good?
No, it's not good. Are you kidding me?
Not good. Not good at all.
Just one of the most disappointing starts that you could possibly imagine for a guy that, you already didn't have much confidence in the first place to pitch in big games. Now, he's going to have to prove it because I don't have much confidence with him going forward.
The disappointing part was he had thrown well in back-to-back starts. It seemed like a good spot for him to even up the series. It was such a critical game, and he really didn't give the Padres a chance to win, unfortunately, on Saturday night. Now, the positive for the Padres, there's not a ton coming out of the weekend, but Ramon Laureano has been terrific in a Padres uniform. 339 batter with a 1,082 OPS, 1082. He's hit 4 home runs in 15 games with San Diego. Is that good?
It is good.
He's been a constant in that lineup, Ramon Laureano, since getting here.
Yes, he has. And Manny Machado, we've talked about him, but went 1 for 12 versus the Dodgers this weekend, went 0 for 5 yesterday, had an opportunity in the 9th inning to, maybe do what Mookie Betts did and hit a game-tying home run or, just anything. Didn't come through, struck out, had an awful weekend. Brent, is that good?
No, it's not good. Are you kidding me?
I'll switch gears with my final one. Actually, I'm going to go with the Brewers, who won earlier. They'll play again later. They've got a doubleheader with the Cubs in Chicago. Now, they lost yesterday, but they're 15-1 in their last 16 games. You heard me right. They're 15-1 in their last 16 games. Is that good?
It is good.
Absolute insanity. 79-45 for the Brewers. I think 10 games better than the Padres in the loss column. I think that's right. 10 games better in the loss. Again, I mean, the Padres aren't catching the Brewers, obviously. I don't think anyone is. But again, it's only August, and this is going to be tough to maintain from now until the World Series. But they're playing the best baseball like in franchise history right now in a regular season. 79-45. Winners of 15 of their last 16 overall. Insanity.
They're amazing right now, but I still don't believe in them in the postseason.
Right.
I just don't. You need to have some horses. You need to have, I think, some star power. and I just don't see them having it. Could be proven wrong,
Right.
But they feel like, remember the Atlanta Hawks?
They peaked too early.
Like, remember the Hawks? I forget when this was, but I think they had the best record in the East. They had like 5 All-Stars. They had no true like superstar on that team.
Were they out in the first round?
And I think they lost in the second round to like LeBron and the Cavs.
Got you. Yeah, I kind of do remember that team. Like one random Hawks team.
Yeah, now baseball's not basketball, obviously, but I don't know, man. Do they have like who's their horse ace? Like,
yeah, I don't know. And here's what I do know.
And someone in the chat will be like, "You guys don't know baseball because you don't know anything about the Brewers."
I know this. They're 79-45, and they're 42-20 at home, and they'll be a tough out. But I agree with you. It's not like some guarantee they're going to be in the World Series. Here's what else I know. Them beating the Cubs is beneficial for the Padres. That's the preferred result.
Yeah.
You're chasing the Cubs, not the Brewers. There's no path to chase the Brewers. There's every path in the world to chase down the Cubs. They play again later today. They just shut out the Cubs at Wrigley 7-0. So every Brewers win over the Cubs is a win for the Padres in that wild card quest. Because you're right, division's gonna be tough, not impossible, tough. The wild card, the 4-5 variance is so significant. The home road difference for the Padres and or the Cubs is so significant. And right now, I think the Padres and Cubs are separated by 1 game in the wild card standings after today's game.
And another development in the National League playoff standings that I think could be argued as the biggest development of the day.
Okay,
is I don't know if Zach Wheeler is going to pitch again for the Phillies this season.
Yeah, what did he undergo, or what's he dealing with?
He had a blood clot that he had surgery for. I don't know the total details on it.
Yeah,
but
big loss.
That's a massive loss for the Phillies. He underwent successful. Dude, I can't even say this.
Is it thoracic outlet or whatever?
No, thrombosis procedure to remove a blood clot in his right upper extremity this morning. They're obviously setting no timetable for his return, but you kind of are sitting here wondering, will he return for the Phillies this year? That's a huge blow for them. It's like if the Padres lost Nick Pivetta.
Yeah, no, massive. I completely agree with you. And that's something you don't mess around with. I mean, we're talking about things that are more than baseball when you're dealing with blood clots. Just looking at blood clots, a rare diagnosis for a healthy, fit person with no underlying illness or previous issues. Interesting. So kind of a shocking diagnosis that, could shake things up. You're right. In the National League. All right, we're going to get to the wrap on the other side to kick off hour 3 of Jon and Jim. We're also going to hear from Mike Shildt. We will hear from Mike Shildt on the other side as he, in his own words, explains sitting Ryan O'Hearn again against a left-handed starting pitcher. In addition, in the 4 o'clock hour, your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to see Nelly with Ja Rule. That'll be August 27th coming up at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. So we'll give away those tickets in the 4 o'clock hour. Kevin Acee, our Padres Insider at 5. Don't go anywhere. This is Jon and Jim.
All right, this update's brought to you by Cal Fire. Padres, after getting embarrassed over the weekend, getting swept by the Dodgers, return home tonight to face the Giants for a 4-game series. 6:40 first pitch. Nestor Cortez on the mound for the Padres against Robbie Ray for the Giants. Padres are now 2 games back of the Dodgers in the National League West. And SDFC, they won their 6th straight road match yesterday afternoon against San Jose, 2-1, as they maintain their top spot in the Western Conference and are now tied with Cincinnati for the Supporters Shield. Their next match is Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium against Portland. Help prevent wildfire, mow before 10 a.m., keep vehicle chains from dragging on the ground, and never park on dry grass. Remember, one less spark means one less wildfire. Learn more at readyforwildfire.org.
It's Jon and Jim to warm up that drive home.
You can't say coming out of the series, you feel like they have just as good of a shot to get to a World Series today, because it feels like a lot of questions come out of this past weekend. It feels like it was an exposing weekend that hopefully doesn't further expose as we go through the season and into the postseason against really good teams.
Yeah, they're not at that level yet. Felt like they could get to that level, but they're going to have to prove it. I'm very cautious to sit here if they're in another situation like they were this past weekend and go into the series with the confidence that I had on Friday.
Now, live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios, it's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 3. Jon and Jim. Kevin Acee joins us in 1 hour, probably about 58 minutes at 5 p.m. Kevin Acee from Petco Park. Padres Giants will play game 1 of their 4-game series. I feel like hopefully the Padres aren't thinking like everyone else is. So much time on the weekend. Dodgers. Sweep.
Yeah, they got to move on quickly.
Clubhouse better not be, woe is me. Here we go again. Lucy's pulling the football away. Yeah, I mean, you can't. The way we're talking about it, that's the funny thing about sports, specifically baseball. Like, if you're Manny Machado, you cannot concern yourself with 1 for 12. If you're Fernando Tatis Jr., you can't concern yourself with having no power. He was quoted. You read that today because that was in the AC article.
Yep.
He's like, I have no power. I mean, that might be the direct quote. He's like, he's not putting the ball in the air.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, for whatever reason, now he's producing in other ways. I use the air quotes to some extent, but he has. I mean, some of the numbers are okay, but you can't worry. You got to get out there and hopefully put this behind you. Because again, from a fan perspective, fans would sleepwalk through tonight. Everyone's still thinking about this past weekend. I'd get beat tonight if I was a player. I would let yesterday beat me again today. You can't, if you're Mike Shildt or this team, allow that to happen.
Right. You just got to move on if you're a player. I mean, obviously, we don't play the game and we react and give our opinions. So, of course, we're going to react to what happened this past weekend and tell you what we saw with our own 2 eyes, which was embarrassing. But they have to move on very quickly. Mm-hmm. They can't let this sweep this past weekend turn into, oh my gosh, they just lost 3 or 4 to the Giants at home.
Right.
That would be disastrous. That would be way worse than what just happened this past weekend, which was they got swept by the Dodgers, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the Giants are dead. Their season is over. They're going to make some sweeping change in the offseason potentially, and they're done. So you cannot slip up this week against the Giants before you play the Dodgers again.
Right.
Because at this time next week, if they play bad against the Giants, and by bad I mean say they split, say they go 2-2 against the Giants. Mm-hmm. The goal is 3 out of 4 at worst. But say you split the series here against the Giants, you lose, you go 2-2, and then you lose 2 or 3 to the Dodgers over the weekend, and say the Dodgers, who are they playing? The Rockies?
For 4, yeah.
Say they take 3 or 4 from the Rockies and then 2 or 3 from you.
Well, then it's over.
Yeah, and in a week and a half's time, we were like saying that, wow, they have a really good shot to win the division. To now, no shot, all about the wild card once again, and there goes that bubble. Got burst really quickly.
Yeah, I mean, this week is pretty simple for me. They just have to execute on it. The path to a good week, and this is what you have to do. You got to take 3 out of 4, and you got to take 2 out of 3.
Yep.
Easier said than done. You got to take 3 out of 4 against the Giants, and you got to take 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. You do that, you know where you're going to be. Come a week from today, you're going to be a game out because the Dodgers likely take 3 out of 4 in Colorado.
If they take 3, yes.
If right, so maybe you're even. If they don't take 3 out of 4, you're right. If they sweep all 4 games, maybe you're still 2 games out. But you get my point. If you go 5-2 this week, then it'll be interesting to see how quickly people forget about this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But they got to do it. To your point, you got to prove it. You have to prove it to us. You're capable of winning a series against the LA Dodgers. You're capable of putting this past weekend behind you.
And guys like Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts, who had awful series this past weekend. Guys are having bad months of August, right? Like, they're going to have to just try to wipe the slate clean here. You know, I know Fernando Tatis Jr. has zero pop right now, but he's got to go forward and try to put that out of his mind, because maybe he's thinking about it too much. I have no idea what's going on with Tatis. No idea. You know, Manny's having a bad month. Xander Bogaerts, he's cooled off significantly here over late, right? Jake Cronenworth, he went 0 for 7 this past weekend against the Dodgers. They're going to have to move on very quickly, and they don't have the, they're not afforded the time to, like, lick their wounds and reset. They got to play a game tonight against a pretty good pitcher, and they got to go out there and they got to win tonight's game.
Simple as that. I want to hear from Mike Shildt, because we talked about this extensively probably an hour and 15 minutes ago. Ryan O'Hearn not in the lineup against a left-handed starter. This has been the routine since they acquired him, even though he had good numbers against left-handed pitching in Baltimore. Does this include the question, Brent, that was asked? I think it should. Yeah, it does. It should, yeah. Okay, so let's hear the question and the response from Mike Shildt.
Pretty good numbers against lefties this season. Consider starting against lefties, or is that a less bench bat?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of things. Where would you have started him?
I mean, there's places, there's options.
Right.
Necessarily like today or generally?
Today.
It's your call, not mine.
No, I'm just curious. Yeah, he's done fine. I mean, it's more about. The reason I ask is I can answer the question more specifically, not.
Okay, well, then today there's two options. Maybe left and Laureano center.
Right.
DH, but obviously Manny's there today.
He is there today. So Manny's been going pretty hard, and he's played pretty much every game, so we're giving him a DH day. And Bryce has also swung the bat well against lefties, and looking at him to get an opportunity to go play and play some center field. So it's a really fair question and definitely consideration. Just want to be specific as to where that could have been. But, yeah, Ryan's done a nice job, and he is a great option for us off the bench.
Unfortunately, the answer is not unfortunate, but I wish AJ would have said Arise, because that's the answer. Like first base against lefties.
Yeah, that would have gotten a response. And honestly, Mike Shildt opened up that line of questioning. He said, where would you play him?
Right. And I think AJ might have been, because AJ Castle asked the question.
Yep.
And I don't know if he thought about Luis Arise or he was caught off by Mike Shildt kind of trying to flip it on him.
Right.
But the response to where would you play him against lefties, it's at first base for Luis Arise.
Right, because Arise has struggled. We talked about this 90 minutes ago against left-handed pitching. And O'Hearn has, you look at the numbers, O'Hearn's OPS, on base plus slugging, is significantly higher than Luis Arise's this year. So maybe that does present itself as an opportunity moving forward. Well, Shildt sounds like they're discussing it. He wasn't like, that's the most ridiculous question I've ever been asked. We're not going to play O'Hearn against.
How long are you going to discuss it for?
Apparently,
you know
2 weeks.
Like you got to make a decision here. There's only 30-something games left in your season, dude. Like, enough of the discussing. We see the numbers, and if you're basing most of your decisions off of the numbers, that's why it continues to make no sense. If you were doing this off like gut and feel, or hey, I like, this is my guy, I'm gonna ride until the wheels fall off with him, no matter what. Okay, even then it wouldn't make any sense. But still, if you are basing most of your decisions with your lineup based on numbers, then why isn't Ryan O'Hearn in there over Luis Arise when O'Hearn clearly has better numbers against lefties than Arise, and they play the same position?
And we're at the point of the season where, like, it's about winning. Like, I get it. Luis Arise has won 3 batting titles. I get it. But he hasn't hit left-handed pitching, and he's not having the same offensive success he had in the prior 3 seasons. And you did acquire a guy that was having a very good all-star caliber. He was an all-star. Yeah. A very good offensive year. So I get it.
I'll go 3 for 4 tonight. Watch.
Well, that's the other thing about this, that the ebb and flow of a season is, it's not always as simple as just get this player in a lineup and all of a sudden everything's fixed. In fact, very rarely is that the case, right? It's not like, oh, you make this one change and you've unlocked your lineup. So we'll see. Hopefully it's just it's the right time for them to play well again because they're taking on the Giants. Like, hopefully that's what plays out, but it's also sports. It's not a guarantee that just because you have the Giants at home, you're going to win 3 of the next 4 games or 4 of the next 4 games. They're going to have to play well. And Robbie Ray is a good starting pitcher.
Giants aren't bad on the road. They're 30-31.
Yeah, it's just what they've done recently, right?
Right.
I mean, they've just fallen off.
It's been mostly at home with them. At home, they're an absolute train wreck.
Exactly. Yep.
On the road,
right. You're right.
They're not completely awful. Like, I'm just looking at their recent road records here. Yeah, I mean, their last road trip, 6-game road trip through New York and Pittsburgh, taking on the Mets and the Pirates.
Okay.
They won both those series. So they went 4-2 on their last 6-game road trip. And then before that, it wasn't great. They went 2-4. But still, their last 6-game road trip, they played pretty well.
Right.
And they've been awful at home, but, be cautious this series. Don't just think that they're going to steamroll over the Giants, even though they're, making their plans for Cancun at the end of the year.
That's a great point. I mean, with baseball, it's like the any one series theory. In any one series, any one thing can happen.
Yeah.
Like it is actually like, that's like accurate. The Angels are 6-0 against the Dodgers.
Does
that mean the Dodgers aren't going to win the World Series? The answer is no.
Right.
There have been years where the Pirates have won the season series over the Dodgers in recent history. And the Dodgers those years have been World Series contenders. We've seen what the Padres play out. We've seen them play poorly at times against bad teams. So no, you're right. I mean, I'm on high alert if I'm the Padres, specifically tonight against a very good pitcher in Robbie Ray. This is the game you got to get. You got to turn it back around. That is you can't let this become a 4-game losing streak, in my opinion. Put your foot down tonight and beat the Giants in game 1 of the series. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, do not let this weekend pour into these 4 games against the Giants.
Right.
Like, take 3 or 4, take care of business, and then take 2 or 3 against the Dodgers this weekend. Like you said, we'll see where they're at on the other side of that. But, that is probably one of the better case scenarios you could have, other than sweeping your way through this homestand. But you take 3 or 4 here, and you take 2 or 3 from the Dodgers, then you feel more confident with their chances to maybe win the division, depending on what the Dodgers do.
Sure.
But again, they have to go out and prove it. They don't have any leg to stand on here to tell you fans out there that they can accomplish it, because after this past weekend, you kind of lose benefit of the doubt. You kind of lose the we're going to compete for a division. Well, if you're going to do it, you wouldn't get swept and play that bad this weekend against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, I feel like we might learn a good amount about them based on how they play during this upcoming, not just homestand, but really this 4-game series against the Giants. Like, who are you going to be? Are you honestly an NL contender or not? And I think now is the time to prove that. You don't want to fall behind more than 2 or 3 games. You already overcame the 9-game deficit. It's like in a basketball game.
Right.
You come back from 18 down, and then all of a sudden you're down 9 again. It's like you did all that work to get back into the game, and you still ultimately lost. So you don't want to fall behind by more than 2 games, in my opinion.
There's a update on Michael King after his bullpen, John.
Yes, everything felt great.
Of course it did.
Everything felt great after throwing a bullpen of around 30 pitches, according to Michael King.
Isn't it weird how he had his knee drained, though? That's a little weird to me.
Wait, what?
That his left knee inflammation. They said.
Excuse me?
You didn't.
What? I'm unaware of that.
You are?
What do you mean his knee was drained?
His knee was drained. It was
when?
It was reported on.
Where? How?
Who drained it? I'll find it.
He had his knee drained?
Yeah.
He's not pitching in 15 days. He already pitched off.
I'll find it for you.
Okay. When did that happen?
Let me find it.
That's news to me.
Hold on. I'll find it during the break, okay?
All right. We'll take a time out. The wrap is on the other side. Coming up later this hour, your chance to win tickets to see Nelly with Ja Rule, and Kevin Acee will join us at 5 p.m. Michael King at his knee drained?
Yeah, Dennis. Let's see here. I'll find it.
All right. Jon and Jim, don't go anywhere. All right. So Jim is right. You heard that.
Hold on. Whoa.
Jim is
what?
correct.
I'm what? I'm correct. I'm right.
We played the audio Friday of Michael King in the clubhouse when asked about his knee, and he said,
Slipped it in there.
Feeling better, had my knee drained yesterday. I completely missed that. So yesterday means he had his knee drained Thursday.
Yes.
And today is Monday. So just days ago, maybe I'm not up to date with modern medical care. I thought when you had your knee drained, there was a recovery to that. Maybe there isn't as much anymore. So he threw a bullpen 4 days after having his knee drained and feels great, according to Michael King himself today at Petco Park. So I guess that's encouraging. I did not realize that he had his knee drained when he was placed on the IL.
Yeah, he just like slipped it in there. He's like, the other day, knee was hurting, got a drain, but we move on and rehab and get ready to go. And you're like, what?
So he's had the back issue from sleeping wrong, back nerve pain,
it's a shoulder. Yeah. neck, shoulder area. Yeah.
And then he had the knee.
Yeah.
And now he's supposed to be back on the mound in Seattle the day he's eligible to come off the IL. That's what he was selling us on, right?
Very difficult for a starting pitcher to like ramp it up and then just be doing nothing, and then ramp it up and then be doing nothing.
Well, especially dealing with an injury. So,
and you're like the quote unquote ace of this team.
So when you start, for example, let's say he's back out there in Seattle, you're working on what type of pitch restriction? What are you throwing? 45? You've thrown 2 innings since the 18th of May. You've dealt with 2 injuries, and you're going to go ratchet up and throw 85 pitches. You're going to throw 50 max.
And that goes back to the bullpen is going to be used a lot in the future here because King's down. You're not pitching Cortez deep into a game. Who the hell knows with Cease and who the hell knows with Darvish?
Right. Yeah. That's interesting. I didn't realize it. And you said that. I was like, wait, what are you talking about? I had no idea. I just figured it was my knee was bothering me. I need to sit, but no, he's had his knee drained. All right. Maybe that means he's healthy now.
Well, you know what? The best thing to get everybody's mind off of this awful, embarrassing past weekend is going out there and taking 3 or 4 from the Giants. Right.
I would agree.
And then it sets up for another showdown this weekend. And we'll see if the Padres are going to, rise to the occasion or once again shrink under the bright lights.
Now, again, the one series here against the Dodgers, they lost 2 of 3. They won the blowout game where Kike Hernandez came in, but the Dodgers got the last laugh. The one thing I would say, and listen, I'm not going to go sell right now the whole Lucy pulling the football away. I'm not going to tell you the Padres are sweeping the Dodgers or winning that series, but I would say the Padres at home have been a much better team. We've been having this conversation. Yeah. They're 38-20 at home. They're 31-35 on the road. There's no real comparison to who the Padres have been at Petco and the team that they've been on the road. Now, that doesn't mean in any one series they're better than the team they're playing at home. They've been swept at home this year. They're swept by the Mariners. Yeah. They were swept by the Rays. They lost the series at home to the Dodgers. So they're going to have to prove it. But I think both ways. I can't tell you right now the Padres can't beat the Dodgers next weekend because they just got swept this weekend. But I also can't guarantee to you that the Padres are going to win that series coming up this weekend either.
I'll just point back to recent hot stretches this Padres team has had this year and how they followed up those recent hot stretches. In particular, their 14-3 start to the season. That was great. Mm-hmm. On April 14th, they beat the Cubs 10-4. They're 14-3. Just 2 weeks later, they got swept by Tampa at home. They're 17-11. So they went 3-8 in their following 11 games after their 14-3 start.
Mm-hmm.
After their recent 14-3 stretch, they proceeded to get swept by the Dodgers 0-3. Can they right the ship very quickly here? Or are they going to continue down the trend a little bit where they are hot and then they just kind of fall off a little bit of a cliff?
It's a good point. And even like tonight, we keep talking about Robbie Ray and the Padres lineup, but you're throwing a guy, Nestor Cortez, that I think has been effective for you. We've only seen him make 2 starts. It's hard to really know what to expect. We don't know if he's going to give you 4 or 5 really good innings or not. And again, they'll be willing to turn the thing over to their bullpen. I promise you that.
My best guess is he will get taken out with 1 out in the 5th inning. Because Mike Shildt, as I said, he loves, hey, you know what? You're 2 outs into the 5th here, but we want to go to the bullpen. You're like, what?
The funny thing, I feel like that's worked. The Vasquez, Cortez, Kolek Bergert starts.
Yeah.
I'd love to know the records in those starts. I think it's good. I mean, the
Because he
record's
doesn't-
really good in Vasquez.
He doesn't
starts.
keep them in the game that long.
That's the thing. I
He's
mean,
not allowing them to get to 5.
and again, I go back to, I think sometimes we put things on Shildt that are more of an extension of what the organization wants to do. I think when you have a bullpen like this, some of it is like, don't get cute. If you've got a lead 4 2/3 innings into a game, no need, because you know what's going to happen. You get second guessed. If Nestor Cortez stays out there, guess what you say tonight on the wrap up show? If Nestor Cortez is out there with the 2 outs in the 5th inning, allows a home run. What are we going to say?
Should have pulled them.
You've got your whole bullpen available to you. Why on earth is he getting the leash when you've got 6 high leverage relievers available?
We'll see how it goes.
But I want to say Cortez, the last time he threw, he left after 4 2/3 innings and they won the game.
They did. It was up in San Francisco. He pitched very well, and I'm sure Nestor Cortez is not that thrilled about being taken out of that game because he was an out away from picking up a win.
I have a feeling he doesn't care. Just my 2 cents. Maybe he does. Yeah, maybe he does.
I think if you were a starting pitcher and you had a pretty good lead, it wasn't like it was a 1-0 game.
No, it was tying runs at the plate.
But still, it was a tying runs at the plate.
It was like 4-2 with 2 outs.
You weren't pitching awful.
No.
Like, give me an opportunity to get this last out to pick up a win.
Maybe. Potentially. I think the team result for me is more important than Nestor Cortez picking up a win. And they won the game.
They did, yes.
And I'm telling you, I mean, listen, I'll be critical of Mike Shildt when it's necessary. Mike Shildt, there are not a lot of examples I can think of Shildt going to a bullpen with 2 outs in an inning and it backfiring on him this year. I can't think of actually any example of it. We'll get to the wrap on the other side. We'll give away those Nelly tickets coming up later this hour. Kevin Acee at 5 p.m. It's Jon and Jim. All right, guys, it is Jon and Jim again for the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place, and now open the hotel and spa at Jamul Casino Resort. It's the next level of luxury. It's arrived. You can treat yourself to a stunning new stay. They've got the rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, and all the thrills of Jamul Casino Resort, now all in one unforgettable destination.
And Jamul 23 is now open with endless dining every day. You can savor San Diego's ultimate endless dining experience at Jamul 23, from their world-famous lobster brunch served every morning to the VIP endless dining experience each evening. Indulge in chef-curated specialties, seafood, prime cuts, and decadent desserts, all with stunning panoramic views.
We've told you about Tony Gwynn Sports Pub before. You got to get there. You can catch all the sports action at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, the ultimate sports showdown. You can catch the Padres live, plus savory food at Tony Gwynn's, where fandom meets fantastic at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
This update is brought to you by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Padres return home after being swept by the Dodgers this past weekend. Now 2 games back of the Dodgers in the National League West. They start a 4-game series with the San Francisco Giants tonight at Petco Park, 6:40 first pitch. Nestor Cortez on the mound for the Padres against Robbie Ray for the Giants. And SDFC, they won their 6th straight road match for San Jose yesterday afternoon, 2-1. They maintain their top spot in the Western Conference, and they're now tied with Cincinnati for the Supporters Shield. Next match is Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium against the Portland Timbers. Need HVAC this month? Get 0% for 18 months on a new system. Schedule your free proposal at AndersonPHA.com. Anderson, fast, reliable, wow.
All right, Jon and Jim, we've got a chance to win tickets to see Nelly and Ja Rule August 27th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. We will do that giveaway coming up later this hour during the return of Trainwreck Radio. So we'll get to that coming up in 15 minutes. Kevin Acee, Padres Insider, will join us at 5 p.m. We're a few minutes late on the wrap, so why don't we get to that right now?
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Is this a lost season for Jackson Merrill?
No, it's not a lost season. It's just a down year for Jackson Merrill, as it's been down years for a good amount of players on this Padres team. It's kind of a testament to them that they have some key guys in their lineup having down years, and they're still where they're at. But no, it's not a lost year for Jackson Merrill. It's just a down year, and it's turning more into a sophomore slump year than anything, which is kind of what I was hoping to avoid to say this season for him. But the numbers are the numbers, and we're in the middle of August. He's hurt again, and we're almost at September, and it's definitely a sophomore slump year for him.
I think it was Dan Zimborski, Fangraphs, who actually came up with Zip's projections. That was the one that told us before the season it was likely Merrill would take a step back. And guess what? He has taken that step back, and it's not anything that shouldn't be expected. It happens often in baseball with second-year position players. So again, he hasn't really weighed them down, so to speak. He just hasn't propped them up, and hopefully he plays well to finish the year, assuming he comes back from this ankle at some point soon. But yeah, it's not a wasted year, but it hasn't been a great year for Merrill. Next question.
Padres are 7th in the UT's power rankings. Is that too high, too low, or just about right? I didn't know they had them either.
Who does those power rankings?
Jeff Sanders.
Okay.
He did them today.
I like Jeff a lot.
Yeah.
Well, let me just look here real quick. All right. They're not better than Milwaukee. They're not better than the Dodgers. They're not better than the Phillies. They're not better than the Cubs. Like, this is all in baseball. They're not better than Toronto. They're not better than Detroit. No, it's wrong. I put them 8th.
You put them 8th?
Yeah.
Behind the teams that have better records than them?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, 7th, I think it's fair.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to put them like top 2, and I don't think you're going to put them like 12th. So they're probably in that like 7 to 10 range, truthfully.
Take away the records, though. Just the roster alone, when healthy, I'd match it up against almost anybody in baseball. But then you have to go devil's advocate and say, well, like you said, healthy Dodgers lineup, they're not even.
Yeah.
They're not close to that.
Yeah, no, I think they're a good team, and I'm almost certain they're a playoff team. So hopefully they play like the team they're capable of playing. We saw it up until this Dodger series. Hopefully they get back to it. I think, they're probably among the top 7, 8, 9 teams in the sport. Next question.
Are Don and Mud the best broadcast team in baseball?
Well, that's not an opinion. It's a fact. Yes, they are. Every year, Awful Announcing does their top 30 broadcast duos, local broadcast rankings in all 30 teams. All 30 teams. And I'm pretty sure this has a mixture of fan votes in there, or maybe it's all fan votes.
It's all fan vote.
It's all fan vote. Makes sense.
Yeah, it's all through. Yeah, it's all fan vote.
Yes, they are one. They are one of the best broadcasting teams in baseball, and this year it's factual they are the best, according to Awful Announcing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a great crew. Padres fans are spoiled because the thing is, if you look at this list, and I went through it today, and I went through all 30, there's some awful crews, and there's some good crews, and there are some great crews, and they're in the great category. Is what they are. Maybe one year they're going to finish third, and then this year they finish first. I mentioned to you I was in my car, but I was listening to the TV broadcast on Sunday, I thought they did a hell of a job in like the 7th to 8th innings yesterday. Just listening to them call this game on television. I was actually driving, but I was listening to them. I thought they did a very good job. So it's an excellent crew, and they should be congratulated for it because they routinely finish among the top 2 or 3. Oftentimes it's San Francisco, it's the New York Mets, it's the San Diego Padres, and this year it's Don and Mud. So congratulations in store for them.
Top 5?
I probably know it.
What do you get? So Don and Mud were number 1. It's funny because they said that as far as the votes go, they had like the most votes. They received 1,047 A votes out of 1,507 votes by fans.
Okay.
So Don and Mud are 1.
New York Mets are 2.
Mets are 2.
Giants are 3.
Giants are 3.
From there, I would go, and that's super tough. Me personally, I would go with like my buddies, like Kevin Brown, Jason Benetti, Baltimore, Detroit.
Kevin Brown in Baltimore is 7. Benetti is he is 8th.
Okay.
And then you got number 4, Toronto with Dan Shulman, Buck Martinez.
I like Dan Shulman.
Yep. And then number 5, you got John Shambi with the Cubs. Alex Cohen, Rick Sutcliffe.
He used to intern for me. We had him on a couple of weeks ago.
Phillies are 6th. And then you got Baltimore 7 and the White Sox, the Tigers 8th.
Dude, if you've got the best local TV announcing team in baseball, that's a great thing to say. There's so many games. Like, if you have the opposite and it's an absolute train wreck, it's a disaster. It is a disaster.
Because not only do you have to watch a bad baseball team, but
you got to deal with that.
To a bad crew.
Oh, it's a disaster.
Like nails on a chalkboard, dude. At least when the Padres sucked, like it was still entertaining because Don and Mud were good.
Yeah, exactly.
And it will be the same case when the Padres eventually do suck again in their franchise history. You know, hopefully
assuming they're both doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Assuming they're both doing it. Hopefully it's not anytime soon, but assuming they're both doing it, at least it won't be like listening to nails on a chalkboard. You'll just have to watch bad baseball, but at least you get entertained.
100%. Next question.
Will Shedeur Sanders get a regular season start this season for the Browns?
Well, Joe Flacco was named the starting quarterback today for the Browns.
So not in week 1.
I'm going to say that lasts for like 5 weeks tops.
The first 6 games they play are against teams with winning records from last year.
So they're basically saying, we're going to throw Joe Flacco out to be a sacrificial lamb.
Yep.
And then once we're 1-5, then we'll go to Shedeur. Or Dylan Gabriel. Probably not, because I think if you went to Gabriel over Shedeur, I mean, all the fans are going to be talking about until Shedeur gets a start is Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, don't they? I don't even know who else is in the room. Is there one other that we've forgotten other than obviously Deshaun? Oh, Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett.
So someone's getting cut.
Yeah.
Out of Pickett, Sanders, Gabriel. They drafted Gabriel and Sanders. Presumably you're not carrying 4 quarterbacks. Your roster is like 50 dudes. So you're not carrying 4 of your 53 as quarterbacks. So I think he gets a start at some point. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. He looked good in his preseason debut that we talked about the other day, but I guess it wasn't enough to win the job. It's probably better he didn't win the job because like we just said, bless you. Do you want to start from day 1 where the only place you can go is down against like if you start 1-6 and you're Shedeur Sanders, that's it. And I could give you the whole year.
No, I think it's the right call.
Yep.
The first 6 games of their season, you're playing all winning teams from last year. Joe Flacco, who cares if he sucks? Just throw him out there. You know, if he plays well, then that's great. But if he plays bad, then it gives you that opportunity and a reason to go to Shedeur. But, you know, and it gives him more time to develop as well, right? You're not throwing him out there day 1. You're giving him some time to develop and learn the playbook more and, you know, to understand the offense and whatnot. So I think it's the right call because he is a 4th-round quarterback. He was drafted in the 4th round.
Tell me the game they win here. Do unbiased, seriously. Cincinnati week 1 at home.
No,
They should not win that game.
they
Okay?
should not. It's
At Baltimore,
No.
chance. Green Bay at home, they should not win that game. At Detroit, there's no world.
No.
Minnesota at home, they should not win.
Well,
Okay, the rookie quarterback.
I'll say if you're telling me right now, the first 4 games you mentioned there.
Yep. This is the best chance.
I'll give Minnesota the best
That's
chance
fine.
because a rookie quarterback against that defense is still pretty good.
At Pittsburgh, they should not win that game.
No,
They'll be an underdog.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. Well, Aaron Rodgers is also starting against for the Steelers. So
Sure, but Joe Flacco's 41 and not Aaron Rodgers.
Man, that's going to be an interesting matchup.
But I'm just looking at this thing. It's like it's not. Yeah, there's not a lot of guarantees on this game. Maybe that's what happens when you have like the 32nd best team. It's going to be hard to be favored.
At best 2-4, 1-5 kind of feels like where they're going to be.
Probably 1-5. But that's when the change comes.
Yeah.
They'll have like a bye week. Exactly.
Anything better than 2-4 is an absolute win for them.
Better than 2-4 would be shocking to me.
Yeah.
With that schedule.
2-4 feels like
best case.
Best case. 1-5 feels like what's going to happen. 0-6.
Maybe.
It's on the table for sure.
I mean, they've done it before. They are the Cleveland Browns.
They are.
All right. Kevin Acee is going to join us coming up at 5 p.m. But call right now if you want. Listen to this: a free 4-pack of tickets to see Nelly with Ja Rule. 4-pack of tickets. Nelly with Ja Rule, August 27th, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Amazing giveaway. 4 free tickets. Call right now if you want them. 877-767-4760. First 2 callers will be contestants for trivia, but you need to call right now. The number to call is 877-767-4760. Call right now. Again, 877-767-4760. We have a free 4-pack of tickets to see Nelly with Ja Rule. We'll give those away up next. We're doing trivia next right here on Jon and Jim. All right, we all remember that one teacher who made a difference, who believed in us, challenged us, or just made learning fun. Now's your chance to say thank you to Big Way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Today's teacher of the day, Gary Kamansky, teaches at Pacific Beach Elementary. And people told us Gary spends the time to know every student and staff and makes them feel important. Congrats, Gary. You're in the running to win $5,000 for your classroom. Nominate your favorite teacher at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
Thanks, Gary.
Good job, Gary.
Good job, Gary, my man.
All right, Kevin's going to join us coming up at 5 p.m. We'll get to Trainwreck Radio in a moment, but Kevin will join us. What's that? Oh,
there's a couple things to talk about with Kevin.
There's a lot to react to because the last time we spoke to Kevin, again, everything was sky high, 14-3. I mean, it felt as if the Padres were perfectly positioned heading into this past weekend until they weren't. So where do they go from here? Kevin will join us coming up at 5 p.m. But right now, let's play.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants, we have Jared and we have Igor. Jared, you called in first, so you have your choice of Jon or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
Jim.
I'm sorry, Brent. Who was that?
That's Jared.
All right, Jared. Jared, you get Jim. Igor, you get Jon, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, Brent, what's the question of the day?
All right, guys, we just mentioned that Joe Flacco will start week 1. Turn your radio down, whoever that is. All right, we just said Joe Flacco will start week 1 for the Browns. Can you name the 6 Browns starters that turned the radio down in franchise history with 10,000 or more career passing yards? So we're looking for the Browns starters that have in franchise history with 10,000 or more passing yards.
The reason we don't do this. All right, whoever has the radio turned up, can we figure it out, Brent, based on the dials? Turn one down.
Mine's off.
So whose is on?
It's whoever just talked.
Or your phone just freaking sucks.
Yeah.
Phone is awful. Are we on speakerphone?
So who has the clean line, Brent? Will you turn down? Who is the? Do we know who has the good one?
I think this is Igor.
This is going great.
Igor, can you hear us?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Who has the clean line? I just want to tell them.
No, you got this.
You're the winner.
This is.
All right, turn this down. Let's pick up these lines and see whoever's got the good line. I guess is the winner, or the person can call back.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not doing that with that. That was awful.
Well, we just did it. It wasn't. I know. That's what I'm saying. I was going to award the winner, the person that we can hear.
That's a good idea.
That's what the plan was, but for whatever reason, we couldn't even determine that
because those phones were awful.
One of them, I think, was fine.
One of them was fine.
One of them was awful.
But one of them, I think, they're on speakerphone, and they're like you can hear like the reverb or like I don't even know.
Okay? What's Brent doing right here?
Who had the clean line?
Yeah, the clean line's the winner. Dun, 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 congratulations to someone. You just won a 4-pack of tickets.
Congratulations to the person with the phone that didn't suck as much.
All right, someone won.
Whatever. Who cares?
Okay.
It's taking forever.
Congratulations. Someone has won 4 tickets to see Nelly with Ja Rule August 27th, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com.
Well, we tried. Probably not again.
No, we're going to do it again. We're absolutely going to do it again. Okay, I want to play the sound from Rob Manfred. We're gonna need to wait because Brent's on the line. But maybe you saw this story over the weekend. Major League Baseball for years has been rumored to consider expansion from 30 clubs to 32 for a number of reasons. A, financially, you're going to make $1 zillion, right? And then secondly, you can realign divisions with 32 teams like the NFL. The NFL, when they did this, they went to 8 4-team divisions. So Major League Baseball maybe is walking down that same path. If they add 2 teams, Jim, they would have potentially 8 4-team divisions. Rob Manfred talked about this on Sunday Night Baseball. We're not going to hear from him right now. In the event that they go to 32 teams and add 2 teams and they realign, who would you want to see in a geographically realigned division with the Padres?
I think it should just be all California teams.
All California teams.
Giants, Dodgers, Angels, Padres.
Right, the 4 remaining because the A's have left.
If you want to add a 5th, you can add.
There's no 5 because it's 8. 14.
Oh, you're right. Okay, yeah. So there you go. That's a very easy, simple thing. I think taking teams out of divisions that are like Giants and Dodgers, they got to be in the same division. Yankees, Red Sox, they got to be in the same division. You can't.
Can you realign and keep it all? It's a great point. I know your point's a great one, but
like,
can you change?
Cubs, Cardinals got to be in the same division.
It's an interesting one because the issue with when you do that, and I'm with you, is then you're going to have one wonky division, will you not? Like if you put the Giants and the Padres and the Dodgers in the same division, aren't you going to have a division with like the Diamondbacks, Rockies, Mariners? Like, aren't you going to have like one of the you're going to have a bizarre division? You'll have a loaded division, and then you'll have like a bizarre wonky division as a result.
So here's what the Athletic did for their divisions.
Okay.
All right. You have East, North, Mid-Atlantic, Southeast, Midwest, Southwest, Pacific Coast, and West.
That's like more Nate, but okay.
But there's that's 8.
Okay.
Yeah, that is 8. In the East, you have the Red Sox, the Mets, the Yankees, the Phillies.
Red Sox, Mets, Yankees, Phillies. The thing's loaded.
The North, you have the Reds, Guardians, Tigers, Blue Jays. The Mid-Atlantic, you have the Orioles, you have the expansion team.
Right.
The Pirates and the Nationals. In the Southeast, you have the Braves, the Marlins, another expansion team, and the Rays. The Midwest, you have the Cubs, White Sox, Brewers, Twins. The Southwest, you have the Astros, Royals, Cardinals, Rangers, excuse me. The Pacific Coast, you have the Rockies, Athletics, Mariners, and Giants. And then in the West, you have the Diamondbacks, the Angels, the Dodgers, and Padres.
So that's like the geographic alignment per the Athletic.
Yeah, Brent, you have the sound from Rob Manfred over the weekend. So this is Rob Manfred over the weekend talking about realignment at the Little League World Series Classic.
How about a window into the future? Expansion, realignment, expanded playoffs. I mean,
yeah.
Can you see that down the road?
I can. I think the first 2 topics are related in my mind. I think if we expand, it provides us with an opportunity to geographically realign. I think we could save a lot of wear and tear on our players in terms of travel. And I think our postseason format would be even more appealing for, entities like ESPN, because you'd be playing up out of the East, out of the West, and that 10 o'clock time slot where we, sometimes get Boston, Anaheim, would be 2 West Coast teams. And that 10 o'clock slot that's a problem for us sometimes becomes a real opportunity for our West Coast audience. So I think, I think the owners realize that there's demand for Major League Baseball in a lot of great cities, and that we have an opportunity to do something good around that expansion process.
Yeah, I mean, this has been rumored for a long time. Truthfully, I kind of like it. I'm not in love with expansion because I feel like already, do you want to add another 30 pitchers to the major leagues?
Yeah.
Or another 30 position players? Is there even enough for that? Okay. That's a whole nother conversation. They did it with the Rockies and the Marlins. Obviously, they've done it for forever. But once you get to 32, I kind of like 4-team divisions. But the problem is there's going to be so much inequity. How can you put the Red Sox, Yankees, and Phillies in the same division and then have your random Rockies, A's, Mariners division?
Like the Mid-Atlantic would be an expansion team, the Pirates, the Nationals, and the Orioles.
That's the problem.
And one of those teams would make the postseason?
Every single year.
Dude, yeah, I don't know about this.
The expansion or the realignment or both?
Both, honestly.
Yeah.
You already have a bunch of teams that are just not competing.
Good point.
Awful rosters. And you're going to add 2 more teams that are probably not going to compete with awful rosters as well, unless you have some rich billionaire owner that actually cares and wants to spend a bunch of money. Good luck finding that, because there's already just a handful in baseball as it is right now already, even though every owner in the sport is, I think, almost considered a billionaire, or at least I think every owner is a billionaire, right?
I think that's right. But you're going to add 60 major leaguers.
And not every team in the sport wants to spend money. So you're going to expand and hope those 2 teams spend money too. My guess would be you're probably not going to find somebody that's going to want to do that.
Also, do we need 16 teams in the playoffs?
No,
do
we
you
don't.
really need to go to 16 teams? Because that's basically what you're doing here. If you have 8 divisions, you'd have 8 division winners and then probably another 8 wild cards. It's a lot.
I would I think I would hate it.
I don't know if I would hate it, but it would be an adjustment.
I don't know if I don't like I said, you got to keep the Red Sox, Yankees, Cubs, Cardinals, Dodgers, Giants, those teams that have to be in the same divisions with each other.
But that could be at the expense of someone like San Diego.
Fine, put them in the Pacific Coast.
You rather play the A's and the Rockies and the Mariners and win that division every year as opposed to playing in a division with your rival?
Yes.
Well, then under that theory, isn't that what the Giants should want? You know what I mean? Because that's the interesting thing about it. Kevin Acee on the other side is Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Padres return home after getting swept by the Dodgers this past weekend to start a 4-game series with the Giants tonight. 6:40 first pitch. Nestor Cortez on the bump for the Padres against Robbie Ray for the Giants. And SDFC, they won their 6th straight road match this past Sunday against San Jose, 2-1, as they maintain their top spot in the Western Conference. And they're now tied with Cincinnati for the Supporters Shield in all of MLS. Next match is Saturday night right here at Snapdragon Stadium against Portland. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage, no subscription ever. Business owners can keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
All right, final hour of Jon and Jim, and it's great to reconnect with Kevin Acee, our Padres insider. Padres looking to turn a page, so to speak, as they take on the Giants tonight, game 1 of a 4-game series. Before we look ahead, if we could look back, Kevin, when you think about the last weekend, the sweep at the hands of the Dodgers, is it cause for concern? Is it just one series over a long year, or do you find it somewhere in between that?
I find it to be both of those, or somewhere in between it. Is it concerning? Sure. Michael King didn't pitch, and Dylan Cease and Yu Darvish might as well not have. So yeah, I think that's terribly concerning. I do. And then if you contrast that with the Dodgers starting pitchers, 2 of them who'd been out and who the Dodgers have been saying, we'll be fine when we get them back. Well, they were Glass now and Snell, and gosh, if Kershaw is going to be this, which he has been, they've got too deep of a playoff lineup. If you've seen the playoff schedule this year and all the days off, so I think that I think it was concerning. Like, you had a chance to, take one game and be tied with them and feel better, and you didn't. So yeah, that said, how are they both playing in 3 weeks and 4 weeks and 6 weeks? Going into the playoffs is far more important than that. But I don't blame anyone for thinking that was a disappointment or that there was a missed opportunity. The Padres think it was a missed opportunity.
And then diving deeper into the series, I mean, you had the pitching. They were struggling this past weekend. Michael King's injury. Mike Shildt, very questionable decisions that kind of backfired on him all weekend long. Manny struggling in this series. Tatis struggling. Tanner Bogart struggling. Of all those things, Kevin, would you take one of those out that you would be more concerned with long term, or do you think that it was just a bad weekend overall for the things that I just named?
I think it was a bad weekend, but I would take. The starting pitching is where I would begin. And look, the fact that, or the question of whether Tatis is going to hit a home run again, which I'm being somewhat facetious, but we'll believe it when we see it. That's a concern. And look, Manny Machado, that was a terrible game yesterday. Just a terrible game. I don't want to hear about his pitch selection. I don't want to hear about that he had that umpire was terrible yesterday. Everybody got screwed by him, in particular pitchers. It was a bad game. Manny is incredibly consistent. This team is not nearly as good without Manny Machado, but he's got to pick it up. This is the time of year that Manny has got to be better, and he generally is. So we'll see.
Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. I think it's pretty well said. What about some of these health updates? Obviously, Michael King goes on the IL. Jackson Merrill is dealing with an ankle. What's the latest with both of those players?
I still think it's a possibility that Jackson goes on the IL. They see how he's feeling tomorrow. They see, maybe there's more testing. I haven't got clarity on that. But he has a sprained ankle. I don't know the degree of it, but he doesn't look good, and maybe that's the best thing to heal up and come back. So I wouldn't be. I don't think that it's a terrible thing if he goes on the IL. Based on where they're at, who they're going to play once they're done with the Dodgers and the Mariners. Of course, he wouldn't miss much more than that, you would think. But, we'll see. Michael King, I mean, I think that's extremely positive. My understanding is getting the knee drained was huge. He feels better. Look, he threw a 30-pitch bullpen today and said he felt good. But the fact that he just threw 30 pitches, that says something. There'll be a rehab start, and I would expect him to probably start against Seattle, one of the last 2 games that's at the beginning of next week.
I'm sure your inbox is flooded with the question of why isn't Ryan O'Hearn in the starting lineup every single day? Shildt talked about it pregame, some reasons why he's not in the starting lineup, but you just look at the numbers, and the numbers would suggest, regardless of who's on the mound, lefty or righty, Ryan O'Hearn should be in this lineup over some other guys that are in it on a day-in-day basis, like, I don't know, Luis Ariz. What is the issue with playing Ryan O'Hearn every day? And is there a stubbornness from Shildt there to keep Ariz in this lineup because, he's one of his guys?
Or he's one of the guys who can get you 3 hits, and that I think would be more stubbornness. I'm going to agree with you. I don't know that it's because he's one of his guys, maybe, but he could give you 3 hits. I just don't know about taking Luis Ariz out of this lineup. I just don't. Like it's been a terribly streaky season. There's a time where he's a complete void at the number 2 spot. There's a time or there have been plenty of times where if the guys around him, drove him in, we'd be talking about a different situation here. Like yesterday, Manny. Ryan O'Hearn, to me, I'm, by the way, not dismissing the discussion about Ryan O'Hearn playing more. I'm not. There's a couple of days that he probably could have, should have, whatever. I generally defer to the manager on decisions. And I've been, that's just been over. Even like when I do question a manager, I generally learn, oh, okay, got it. That's why. Whether it worked out or not, whatever. But yeah, I'm not dismissing the idea that Ryan O'Hearn should play more. And also, Ryan O'Hearn did start 11 times this year against lefties, so it's not unheard of. He does have 69 plate appearances against lefties and 333. He was kind of a platoon player for the Orioles too, but he did, and his numbers are good. Yeah, I mean, today is completely, look, once they commit to a DH day for Manny, and then you don't want to put in Petco Park, their decision is to not put Laureano in center and O'Hearn in left and have kind of a shaky defense. I mean, certainly not as good as with Bryce Johnson and Laureano in there. And that's the decision they decided that they wanted to go with. And I get it. I do. I don't get as riled up as some people do about lineups. I'm not saying which one's right or wrong. I just don't, because I got to tell you, I'm the guy who gets the emails every time about the lineup. And, the Padres do win some of these games. And some of those guys that people swore should not have been in there ended up having big hits. So I think it's a little more complicated than just Ariz should be out and and O'Hearn should be in. And today I do get it. Was it a valid question? It's an absolutely valid question. Absolutely. And maybe it will be tomorrow as well. There's some righties he probably should have started against. But I don't think it's like, my gosh, you know what it is? It's the minor league guy a little bit. When you're talking about a guy who's not playing, I mean, what are Ryan O'Hearn's numbers right now with the Padres?
6 for 33. Still like 170.
Yeah, what? So it's kind of like, well, if you put him in there, he's going to go 4 for 4 and hit 2 bombs.
Yeah,
no,
it's like you'll never really know.
So, and that's because, when Ariz isn't hot, this year he's really, really cold. And so that's really easy to dismiss that Ariz has been a valuable part of this lineup as well. So it's a valid, really good discussion. I just don't necessarily have a problem with it.
Kevin Acee is our Padres Insider. Does this speak to the general question that after a trade deadline, you're still trying to figure out who a team is? But now it's August 18th, and I look at how they use their relievers right now, and guys sometimes are on the mound in the 5th, and then later on the mound in like the 8th or the 9th, or the way these lineups have looked post-deadline. Like, are they still trying to learn what they have, 2 to 3 weeks after the deadline?
Yeah, and this was a built-in weird situation, right? Like, I think the first question is, wonder what Ryan O'Hearn's going to do, for the Padres. So this was a built-in one. And, I'm sure Ryan O'Hearn had that question after he looked at the roster. But yes, you are trying to figure that out. And now you've got the Merrill injury, and now you've got Manny cold, and not that Manny's ever coming out of this lineup, but they are trying to figure it out. And you got Laureano, and you got the bottom of the order going, but you got the top of the order not maybe so good. Oh my gosh, what should I do there? It certainly didn't sound like Laureano was going to get moved up, except for obviously Jackson's not playing today. So I kind of figured he'd bat fourth, maybe fifth, but kind of had to be fourth if you're, we'll go with your. But yes, to answer your question, again, the amount of times I've been schooled by questioning a relief pitcher usage, a lineup decision, and whether it's right or wrong, it's like a play call in football, a pinch hitter, a relief pitcher, a lineup, whether it's right or wrong. If the team has its research, which they do, and their reasons, which they always do, you kind of have to go, okay, I got it. That doesn't mean they're always right, but I get that there's a lot of parts that the rest of us don't know.
Yeah, and I think it's just, when they're doing something one way and they tell everybody that this is what it is, and then they do the complete opposite. Like just yesterday, Robert Suarez in the 8th inning. Well, he's your closer.
Okay. You know why that was, right?
Top of the lineup?
No. Okay. So he was hot to face Mookie Betts if Morejon had not got Ohtani.
Okay.
So then he's the guy who goes in the 8th, because Mason Miller could not get hot because Mason Miller had already pitched the day before. So Mason Miller could not give you 4 outs. There was a possibility whoever went in there to face Mookie Betts in the bottom of the 7th, if that's what needed to happen, that guy was going to have to go 4 outs. And he was actually going to have to go 4 outs, and it wasn't going to be Mason Miller. So then it has to be Robert Suarez. So I had the same question, but then, okay, now I get it. That doesn't mean it's not okay to question it or whatever, but there's a really valid reason for why Mason Miller was not in there. And so that, it's not just 8th inning, 9th inning, whatever. Before I look at it and go, oh, got it. I go, what the, sorry, I almost said a bad word. So I said, it was my first reaction in the press box. And cause I don't have, Ruben Niebla next to me and and a bunch of cards and I don't have Brian Esposito and all. You gotta go, okay, wait, oh, and then you talk after the game too. You go, got it, and there's a valid explanation for that. It is. Now you want to get down in the gritty of how Robert Suarez and Mason Miller are used when they're rested. I'll do that a conversation all day long, because I don't know, I get a little nervous on Robert Suarez sometimes, especially. That Mookie Betts homer was about as callable as could be at 2-0.
Well, it goes back to the discussion about, all these new toys that Mike Shildt has at his disposal that I don't know if he fully knows how to use them all yet. And having Robert Suarez hot, like you said, for Mookie Betts in the 7th, and I understand that he was ready to go. That goes back to the point of you were about to use Robert Suarez in the 7th. I just don't know.
Because he would have then taken down the 8th because he had to, because Mason Miller couldn't.
So Mason Miller wasn't available?
No, not for more than 3 outs.
Mason Miller was available for
3 outs. Okay.
For the 9th, or depending on what happened, right? So Mason Miller was not available for an up down for 4 outs. Mason Miller was not going to get 4 outs. That would not have been prudent for Mason Miller's health. And so I honestly, once there's an explanation there and it really does make sense, you go, okay. And like I said a bad word in the press box yesterday, because, I'm lazy with my vocabulary, and I was like, what's going on here? And then boom, got it. Okay. I'm assuming this is what it is. And then Mike even gave a further explanation yesterday, a rare further explanation yesterday. And so I'm kind of down with it. I understand it. I do. I don't know. I don't know what else that he could have done. And let's trace it back to, because he had to use all his guys because Darvish was out after 4 innings.
Yeah, it's amazing. They go into a series with there's no questions. They're 14-3 in their last 17 games. They leave a series seriously, the things we've discussed, everything is a question to me. Yeah. Their lineup against lefties, their rotation, their bullpen, Mike Shildt. Yeah, again, it's one series. It could change in 3 or 4 days again, but it's it's amazing how exposing a weekend can be. Is kind of my general
especially
point.
against the Dodgers, and you're in first place, and you are managing it a little bit like a playoff game. And if you want to question Mike on that, like, because there also was Robert is the guy we want to take down the top of the order. So in a playoff game, we are going to put, there is that. Like, you can question him. That's fine. I just felt in this situation, okay, that explanation is completely valid. And based on the circumstances of your starter going 4, you're using all your high leverage guys. Mason Miller was not available to go the 4 because these guys aren't robots. Okay, boom, got it. Understand it. There you go. Unlike maybe some other ones, or unlike other managers maybe in the past. I thought that yesterday was valid.
Kevin, always appreciate it. Let's do it again Wednesday in the midst of this Padres Giants series, and we appreciate you taking time for us as always.
Right on. Take care.
All right, great stuff. Kevin Acee, our Padres Insider, brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. We react. Plus, hear from Mike Shildt coming up next. All right, Jon and Jim, we'll see if we can get Mike Shildt's entire pregame comments coming up. Padres Giants at 6:40. We kind of went back and forth there with Kevin Acee about Mason Miller, Robert Suarez yesterday. And Kevin led us down this path. I mean, I could text Kevin too. It's not to talk about it around Kevin because we're just trying to figure this thing out as well.
Because it still didn't make sense to me even after Kevin explained it. Because I'm like, wait, whoa.
The confounding part, Kevin was like, well, Miller wasn't available to go 4 outs because he had pitched the day before. And we were both like, oh. And then we're both like, well, hold on. In the 6-0 game, Miller appeared. And no, he didn't. He appeared Friday.
And he's only pitched 1 time since the 11th.
So I get it. If he had appeared Saturday, okay, I get it. You're not going to go inning and then an inning and a third. I get that. You could go inning was the theory, but he didn't pitch Saturday.
And then your next question might be, well, is he this Josh Hader guy that can't pitch more than 3 outs?
No, he just did it.
He just did it against Boston on the 9th.
Right. He's way too young to have those rules.
He's done it 4 times this year. Maybe more.
Least, yeah.
At least 4 times this season, he's pitched multiple innings.
Right. He's pitched in multiple innings.
He pitched in multiple innings.
Yeah.
Inning in a third, inning 2/3, inning in a third.
So you're saying that Miller was available just like Suarez is available.
Look, I think Shildt effed it up yesterday. Okay. I think Shildt effed it up the entire weekend. If you're looking at the 7th inning, to have Robert Suarez hot to face Mookie Betts.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Like that's his spot, you're saying?
And by the way, if you face him in the 7th and you're expecting him to then go an inning and a third there,
and then turn over to Mason
Miller. Okay. So you don't trust Mason Miller. I don't know. I just think that when it comes down to the defined roles on this team, right now, Shildt has no idea what those are.
Someone explain this to me. Explain this to me like I'm 7. Why is Robert Suarez the guy to get Betts, not Mason Miller? And if it's because Miller can't go 4 outs, but once Betts let off the next inning, he wasn't going to have to go 4 outs. It's because Suarez was hot. So you're telling me Suarez was hot, therefore he has to enter the game? I don't think that's how it always works.
No, it's not how that works.
Because what happens is there's other times Suarez gets up, the circumstance of the game may change, and he could still be called upon later in that game. That's kind of the business of pitching in relief. So I don't know. Something's a little off. And I'd like to hear Mike Shildt postgame from yesterday. And I haven't, to be honest. I didn't hear what he said. I don't know if this was directly asked.
So, okay. You're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Rojas, Buddy Kennedy, and Shohei Ohtani. You have.
Right. And if anyone reaches Betts. Oh, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you had Suarez ready in the 7th.
Because if anyone reached, they were going to go to him.
Mm-hmm.
If they needed someone to go 4 outs, he was going to be the 4-out guy, not Mason Miller. Which, okay.
And then you're looking at it from this standpoint of you got to keep it 4-3 because they didn't tie the game up yet, the Padres. It was 4-3 at the time.
Gotcha. They're trailing. So Shildt, I'm trying to just think of this out. Yeah.
So Shildt in his head's like, we got to keep this 4-3. So I'm using my closer in the 7th to keep it 4-3 instead of my other closer to keep it 4-3.
All right. He has that luxury. He has 2 guys.
Yeah. And then once you tie it up, then you go to, there's the thing. Once they tied it up.
That's when you would have gone to Miller.
But Miller wasn't even warming up in the pen.
Correct.
It was only Robert Suarez.
Correct.
So they didn't even think about going to Mason Miller.
They did not, because it sounded as if they didn't want him to go more than 3 outs.
Okay.
I'm with you. I mean, it's very confusing.
Well, look, end of the day,
they lost.
They lost the game, and Mike Shildt's move didn't work. So every move he made this past weekend did not work.
Yeah, I thought at the deadline, I'm like, there are no wrong moves with those 5 relievers. That's dead wrong. By the way, that is so dead wrong. You can't ask all 5 of those guys to be perfect in any role.
Hey guys, by the way, when the 6th inning or 5th inning rolls around,
get ready.
I'll be ready.
And some of you guys are going 2 innings, and other guys, I know you were working the 8th inning.
You're
Jason
going in the 3rd, and you're coming in with 2 outs, and you're coming in with 1 out.
And Jason, you were working the 8th inning for 4 months. You got the 5th.
You got the 5th now.
So you can't just. These are human beings, and you can have very effective relief pitchers. But when you're asking them to do things that they're not comfortable with doing or they haven't done previously, you can't expect the exact same results. That's my point. You have Robert Suarez doing something he never does. So why would you expect him to be at his best doing something he's never asked to do?
Now, Robert Suarez is technically still the closer of this team. I think there could be an argument for him to be moved off that. But to your point you just made, he's been the closer all year long.
Right.
So why switch up roles now? Right.
I mean, I get it. Again, the human element of it. If someone tells me right now I got to go till 7 p.m. or I got to do a show from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. today, it throws everything off.
Everything off.
Can we do it? Of course. But also, you want to give them maybe a little bit of it's hard because it's sports. It's like you don't know if Yu Darvish is going 2 innings or 9.
Yeah.
So that's the business of being a reliever, right? There's some scenarios that can play out that you're not always accustomed to. But it seems like with this embarrassment of riches that they have, why is everyone now out of position?
And look, in the postseason, there are going to be times that a moment where you need to bring the closer in maybe the 7th inning or the 8th inning, probably going to have to do.
Got to do it. It's a must win in that scenario.
Because exactly. Hey, a couple years ago, we've gone over it a billion times, putting in Robert Suarez against Bryce Harper instead of Josh Hader against Bryce Harper.
Good point.
Obviously, it backfired, but they went by the defined roles. Bob Melvin went by defined roles. Robert Suarez got the 8th. Josh Hader got the 9th. Hader's not going more than 3 outs because he wants to get paid, and that's the defined roles, and it backfired on him. And then yesterday, they didn't go by the defined roles, and it backfired on them.
That's the problem.
Baseball.
That's Monday morning quarterbacking. Because if the other team has something to say about it too.
Yeah.
When you have a Bryce Harper, you have a Mookie Betts. All right, we'll see if we can hear from Mike Shildt on the other side. We're reacting to it all. We're getting you ready for Padres and Giants game 1 of a 4-game series at Petco. Jim's back page ahead as well. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update's brought to you by Rapid Radios. Padres Giants start a 4-game series tonight at Petco Park. Padres are now 2 games back of the Dodgers in the National League West. You have Nestor Cortez on the bump for the Pods against Robbie Ray for the Giants. And SDFC, they won their 6th straight road match versus San Jose yesterday afternoon, 2-1. As they maintain their top spot in the Western Conference, they're now tied with Cincinnati for the Supporters Shield. Next match is Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium against Portland. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
All right, Jim's back page is ahead. Was hoping to hear from Mike Shildt, but I might be let down because we haven't heard from him.
We're all going to be let down, John. We're all let down.
Tough weekend for Mike Shildt. Under a microscope in LA, big series, big opportunity.
Tough weekend for everybody.
It really was, and I feel like he's taken a good amount of heat for the past weekend. I think Manny's taken a lot of heat, but the truth is, it really was a team-wide, failure. I mean, it really was. Yes, Ramon Laureano hit a couple of home runs. He played very well. We just expected more. You said it, I think, on social media after Saturday's game. Like, this series is boring.
Oh, it was boring as hell.
Until yesterday. Yesterday's game was not boring. And they came back from 4-0 down. It was interesting, but then they lose.
It was only boring because the Padres were getting their ass kicked, but.
Right, exactly. So now it's move on and listen, there's still 38 games.
Yeah,
so what are we going to do?
Time does not stop. This season's not over.
It's 38 games. So, it could still go sideways. You don't want this thing going sideways. They were playing well. I mean, the reason I still like where they are is I'm looking at their schedule. I like the team. I do. I didn't like the weekend, but I do like the team coupled with the schedule. I'm like, they should fall out of bed beating teams like the Rockies and the White Sox and whomever else.
I think they
schedule.
will.
I do too. So
it's just like a harsh turn of events in such a quick period of time.
So quick.
Going from, all right, game on, division title, on the line for the next 40 games. Here's the run. Here we go to, and it's done. Like, that's what it kind of felt like.
Yeah, like the opposite. Like you said earlier, like if the opposite happened and it didn't.
No.
I mean, you'd be talking about best team in baseball and how the West was won.
Every single radio show and MLB network show and MLB, Sirius XM satellite radio show would be saying Padres are probably now the favorites to win the World Series.
They'd be changing of the guard, maybe other than Milwaukee. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, people would be like, dude, the Padres against, at Dodger Stadium facing their demons.
And they just swept them?
Well, obviously that's not what happened. But I mean, again, that's what was on the line this weekend. We were doing a show Friday. Anything was possible. 3 wins, 3 losses, somewhere in between.
Did not think 3 losses, though.
The swings are so severe when you're in division. And it's 2 teams that are neck and neck, so to speak, because I mean, we could have been here today with the Padres 4 games up in the division in an alternate universe. And today here we are, and the Padres are 2 games back without a tiebreaker.
It makes you question, is this team going to be ready for the bright lights? Are they going to rise to the occasion, or are they going to struggle like they've struggled, this past weekend against the Dodgers and then last postseason against the Dodgers? Are they going to perform when the lights are the brightest, or are they going to continue to struggle and kind of fall flat on their face?
And then it also asks me the question, you come out of that, you're like, were the Dodgers just bored? They're just waiting to turn it on? Are they waiting to get healthy? Because right now, we use Fangraphs all the time. Fangraphs gives the Dodgers now an 82% chance of winning the division. No, excuse me, 83.8% chance of winning the division. It didn't say that the other day. In fact, I asked on Friday, I'm like, how is it the Dodgers are a 2-1 favorite, maybe a 3-1 favorite to win the division? They're trailing the division.
Yeah.
Well, Fangraphs might have been right.
Look, they're going to have to prove it. If they're going to, compete for a division, they're going to have to go out and prove it. There's not going to be much confidence on my end until I actually see it with my own 2 eyes. Because as Kevin wrote today in his newsletter, since 2020, there have been 3 instances where the Padres were kind of right there with the Dodgers at the very end of the season to, look to win their first National League West title since 2006.
I remember them all. Yep.
August 2020, Padres got within a half game of the Dodgers. And then in mid-September, they won the opener of a 3-game series against the Dodgers.
Trent Grisham game?
The Trent Grisham game. And then they lost the next 2. They finished the season 6 back of the Dodgers.
Right.
The Padres won 7 of their first 10 games in 2021 against the Dodgers. And then including a 3-game sweep at Petco Park in June. They moved to within 2.5 games of the Dodgers on the last day of that month. And then the Dodgers won the final 9 games of the season series as the Padres collapsed.
I remember that, yeah.
2024, Padres won 8 of the first 13 meetings against the Dodgers in the regular season. And then they were up 2-1 in the NL Division Series. And we all know what happened there, 24 straight scoreless innings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they get right to almost the finish line, and then they trip and fall on their face.
It is completely the Lucy pulls the football away analogy from
Here
Charlie
we go.
Brown. Like Charlie keeps trying to kick this thing. You kind of feel for him.
Can't kick it.
And you can't kick. It's like, what do the Padres need to do? What does AJ Preller need to do?
Nothing. He's done everything he can.
That's
It's the players. It's on the players.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what else can you do? What do you want this man to do? You want them to spend more money? You think money solves the issue this weekend?
No, money is nothing
You
to
know what
do
I
with
mean?
this
It's
past
like,
weekend.
do I think the lineup solves anything this weekend? Maybe it does. But it's like, it's beyond that, is my point. It's this Padres-Dodgers dynamic. Now, I know there was 2022, and we watched it with our own eyes. And it was a joy to watch that 5-game series that they won 3 games to 1. It was a joy to watch. But it really, I'm not saying it feels like a lifetime ago, but it feels like it's been a while.
Well, it's been a while.
It has.
And also, it's not like they went on to win the World Series. They, had home field against the Phillies and they lost in 5.
Right.
So, I mean, are we really going to be celebrating winning division series here?
Yeah, I mean, we will be. I mean, that is a celebrated moment in the last 25 years for the Padres. And it should be.
And now you have to take that next step.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
And man, expectations, they can be brutal, man. Because if your expectations are World Series and they don't get to a World Series, it kind of feels like a failure.
Disappointing season. You get to a National League Championship Series when you want to win a World Series.
Yeah.
Or shoot, at one point, I mean, listen, if you get to a World Series, you feel like you've come this far, not to just come this far. I mean, you want to see them do something they've never done.
Because you don't know when that opportunity is going to present itself again. And, it kind of feels like the opportunity is presenting itself again after last year. We'll see what happens with this team.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it kind of feels that way. And their first test this past weekend, they failed miserably at. So it's not the only test that they're going to have. It's just the first one. And the first one, they fell flat on their face. So now, next test will be, can they make sure that these 3 losses this past weekend don't turn into like a 4 or 5 game losing streak?
Yep.
Can they play well against the Giants? And if they play well against the Giants, then your next test will be this coming weekend against the Dodgers. And if they fall flat on their face again against the Dodgers, well, then they're 0 for 2. And it doesn't give you much confidence for them going into a postseason run.
It wouldn't. It's a big week. And it's not just because the Dodgers here, it's because of the Giants. Like you just said, it's these games. It's like these 4 are worth more than those 3 because you're playing them 4 times. Like, take advantage of this team that's been awful. The Giants have lost 7 of 8. They snapped a 7-game losing streak yesterday. Take advantage of this opportunity beginning tonight. Nestor Cortez, Robbie Ray down at Petco. We will have a wrap-up show for you, by the way, tonight on YouTube. All right. Never heard from Mike Shildt. We kind of did, though, on O'Hearn. That's what you needed to hear.
That's all I wanted to hear.
That's what you needed to hear. We heard from him. He gave you his reasons as to why Ryan O'Hearn is not playing every day. We'll get to Jim's back page on the other side. We're here until 6 p.m. Don't go anywhere. This is Jon and Jim. San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, final time, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We'll see if we can put this Dodger series behind us, being the show.
Well, once first pitch happens tonight at 6:40, it's behind us. And
not if they lose.
Well, if they lose, then yeah, it feels like it's a carryover from the weekend. But if they win and they play good baseball tonight, then
it'll be behind.
It'll hopefully feel, and be behind them.
Yeah, exactly. It's on them. If they play well tonight, if they play well over these next 4 days, guess what? People are going to be super excited.
Yeah.
For this upcoming weekend. They'll be excited no matter what happens these next 4 days. But yeah, people will be excited come this weekend. We'll get to Jim's back page in a moment. By the way, Freddie Fermin today starting for a 4th consecutive game for the first time in his career. So they
he's starting catcher.
Fermin and he's taken over. He's starting, typically with catchers, a starting catcher means you start maybe 4 out of every 6 games. 5 out of every 7 games, but Freddie Fermin is firmly supplanted as their starting catcher right now. Congrats to Freddie on that.
How worried were you when he ran straight into the railing this weekend?
Yeah, he went down like a ton of bricks on Friday.
It looked like he just got the wind knocked out of him for the most part because he went like stomach first into the railing. But yeah, for a minute I was like, oh, great. He just hit a home run and now he's probably done.
Yeah, it looked kind of scary. And he stayed down for a couple of minutes, but
Shildt calling for a bunt with Freddie Fermin was, to me, the more.
Is that what hurt you more?
That hurt me more than watching Freddie Fermin run into a railing.
All right, let's get to it.
All right, do you want to know the crumble cookies of the week, Jon?
Sure, yeah, I would love to.
There are some very good ones on this list. First up, the strawberry cheesecake cookie.
Okay.
We have a pink velvet cake cookie.
Right.
We have a peanut butter munch cookie. Oh my gosh, that looks delicious. A chocolate marshmallow cupcake cookie.
What?
A pumpkin chocolate chip cookie.
Okay.
A milk chocolate chip cookie. And remember when we were talking about the Dubai chocolate?
Yeah.
Well, they're releasing a Dubai chocolate brownie.
When were we talking about the Dubai chocolate? Did it have to
Shake
do with
Shack?
Oh, Shake Shack. So now they're getting involved. Crumble's getting involved.
They are. Dude, from this week, 18th to the 23rd.
Yeah.
Dude.
Isn't Erin away?
She is.
Just go live it up, man. She'll never know. No one will. Just go there.
Be like, yeah, since you've been gone, I've just been eating Dubai chocolate at $40 a pop all week.
Yeah, just go get 6 cookies and pound them.
Full disclosure, I feel completely lost this week. Because Erin I thought she was coming home tomorrow. She's coming home Wednesday night.
But I feel like that was on you.
It was on me.
I like your travel didn't change. You just,
I thought it was Tuesday instead of Wednesday.
So she went away for a good week, almost a week.
Yeah, she left on Friday morning.
Okay.
And she'll be back Wednesday night. But I had to take out the first 2 nights, and I'm like, I gotta go buy some
get
food.
Back on the grind.
So I went to the store the other day, but even at the store, I'm just like,
what am I doing?
What's going on right now?
So go get crumble cookie. Be a man.
I think I will.
Yeah, you should.
I think I will.
Just go completely off the rails until she gets home.
No, dude, I can't do that.
And then clean the house and pretend like everything's normal.
By the way, the house yesterday was not in good shape. So I cleaned it to the theory of like, just wait till the last second. But I'm thinking to myself, if I wait till the last second, it'd been way more work to do. So I just cleaned it yesterday and everything's fine.
But now is it going to stay clean until Wednesday night?
Well, no, but it won't be as dirty. So it will be an easy clean.
Okay.
Like, it's a very easy turn the Swiffer or turn the, what's it called? Roomba on, have that thing go, Swiffer the floors, take out the garbage.
And you're good to go.
Make sure the dishes are clean.
She'll never know it was dirty.
Never know, dude. Never know.
What else you got?
Last week, KFC announced that they are bringing back potato wedges. They were very excited about that.
Right.
Well, today they announced not a new item, but they're bringing back an item from the past to couple with the potato wedges.
Mm-hmm.
The hot and spicy wings, which were removed from the menu 2 years ago, are making a return to the menu that you can pair with potato wedges. So you can get hot and spicy wings with potato wedges. Comes in a 6-piece combo meal. There you go. How you doing?
I just had a craving when you said that for chicken wings. Now I don't eat chicken.
Well, you don't eat chicken.
But
How
I
do you
did
have a
that one
craving?
day when I lost the bet. I forget what the bet was, but I lost it. It was so good. Dave's Hot Chicken.
Oh, Dave's Hot Chicken.
But what did I lose? What did I say?
It's a good question. It was Padres related.
It definitely was. But man, when you said that, like hot and spicy, I'm like, yeah, I'm down, man.
Yeah, give me
Let's
some.
just do it.
Gosh, now I need to go get wings.
Wings
tonight.
and wings and
crumble?
cookies, dude.
Living it up, bro.
Yeah, you should live it up tonight.
And finally, Krispy Kreme is releasing new Harry Potter themed donuts starting today.
Okay.
Krispy Kreme has stepped into the wizarding world with the release of its limited edition Harry Potter House of Hogwarts collection, available starting today. The magical lineup features 5 themed donuts and a specialty latte inspired by the beloved book and film series. The collection includes 4 house-themed creations. Gryffindor, filled with cookie butter cream and topped with red icing, Biscoff crumbles, and a golden drizzle. Slytherin, crowned with green buttercream, chocolate swirls, and cookie sugar. Hufflepuff, filled with brown butter toffee custard and decorated in yellow icing with chocolate drizzles and cookie crunch. And then Ravenclaw, dipped in blueberry icing with themed sprinkles. Whoa. Would you eat that?
You know me, dude.
You don't like donuts.
I'm not really a donut guy, but I mean, yes, I.
You told Darnay
would.
you like donuts, but you don't eat donuts.
Did I tell Darnay that?
Yeah, on Twitter, you're like, "Oh, that's awesome. I love donuts," and I was like, "You don't eat donuts." You're like, "Oh yeah, that's right."
Whatever. I'm just not a big sweets guy.
See, I am a big sweets guy, as you can tell by all the stories I read on the back page. I
Right.
love me some sweets.
But I don't feel like you eat sweets all the time.
No, I just want to eat sweets all the time.
Right.
Because I know that if I, like the other day, last week I think it was, I took Bentley to a vet appointment.
Okay.
And after our vet appointments, because usually they're in the morning, we go and get donuts. I give Bentley a little donut. I give him a little like donut hole.
Like an actual donut?
Yeah.
Not a dog donut.
I can break it up, give him a little donut hole. He's fine.
Trying to kill him?
I'm not going to kill him, give him a little mini donut hole.
Okay.
I've
gonna
been
get
giving him,
diabetes.
yeah, I've been giving him donut holes for a while, so he's okay.
Okay.
And I go get donuts myself, and I usually get like 1 or 2 donuts.
All right.
Because I'm feeling like I need some
Yeah,
donuts in my life.
Yeah.
And I eat the donuts, and I immediately have a stomachache. I'm like, oh, this is not good, but I love the donuts. I can't get away from it. So that's my theory here of like, I would love to go out and get Krispy Kreme all the time, and go and get crumble cookie all the time, but I know
It's going to hurt your
but
stomach.
my stomach's gonna hurt.
Does Aaron know you're feeding her dog, which is your dog? You're married. But does Aaron know it's her dog?
That's her
Let's be
dog.
honest.
That's 100%.
Does she know you're feeding this dog gummy bears or whatever, or donuts?
Gummy bears are not donuts, but yes, I send her videos of me feeding Bentley donut holes. And by
she's cool
donut
with it.
holes, I mean just singular. I don't mean plural.
Did she used to do this pre-gym?
No, but she's completely fine with it, and she encourages it.
Okay. I'm just looking out for Bentley.
Because Bentley, he's a very smart dog. So
So he eats donuts.
when I say time to go to the vet, he knows that, he's going to go to the vet, but also get a donut hole after.
Yeah, it makes sense, actually. It's like when you were a kid and you went to the dentist, then afterwards they would take you to get like sugar.
Right.
I never understood that.
Well, it's a good bribery tactic.
Yeah, to make your kid go to the dentist.
Yeah, just like, hey, we got to go to the dentist, but afterwards
You can get any
you get a
sweet
treat.
you want.
So it's like incentive. Like, okay, cool. I'll go to the dentist, or I go to the doctor, or go to the vet. Afterwards, we're gonna get a little treat.
I have vivid memories after the dentist of like there were like those sugar sticks,
Really?
and I would like chug them, or those
pixie sticks.
or like remember the dots on a piece of paper,
Huh? No.
Brent? Just like sugar dots on like a long, like almost like a receipt.
Okay.
There's like dots of sugar you would take off the receipt.
Sure.
No, I don't remember
Yeah.
that.
All right.
Pixie sticks, yes.
Pixie sticks.
Those are awesome.
Pixie sticks. Someone bail me out on this. Right? You remember this, people?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know how we got where we are, but here we are.
We're here.
Post game, join us for a wrap-up show. Padres Giants game 1 at Petco. We'll see if the Padres can get back to their winning ways tonight downtown. If you missed anything today, sportssd.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Spotify. If you're listening to us on podcast, please leave a review. Back tomorrow at 2. Wrap-up show tonight for Brent and Jim. I'm John. Keep it here. This is San Diego Sports 760.
Okay.
Bye-bye.